Visit Sliwa has clearance right now.
Yeah! Let's hear it. That didn't sound very good. That did not sound good. Jorge, are you hungover like Emily, or what's going on?
I'm a little more tired than hungover.
We got your back. Don't worry, guys.
LAFC
We got your back
fun.
today.
What a day. What a night last night.
Jeez.
Late last night, and a whole bunch of stuff going on with Shohei Otani, and there's about 900 different... my
man.
Twitter stream is
Very unfortunate.
blowing up. It's a mess. Emily went out last night. They announced the date of the Kobe statue. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, Slee.
A lot
of
going
stuff.
on, and I think we're in the middle of a Dodger game as we sit here, too. That game is game
Did
suspended.
they already start?
Yeah,
Oh, you
already
mean
started.
the one where they absolutely shafted Clayton Kershaw
Yes,
by calling
that's
the game?
one.
That's
That's
one?
the one. One Dave Roberts wasn't crazy about.
Hey,
yeah, that
is that
one.
a cloud? Call the game. That's it. We're done here. It's a little cloudy 11 miles from here. Let's pull the plug on the game. What a joke. What a joke.
It's sprinkling 25 miles away.
Yeah, well.
Hey, that's our kind. That's kind of what we do out here.
You know what's funny? That's one of those things that would have made me go, I can't believe that.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like, I got a 13, 12 game. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's just, shut him down. Give him straight. They didn't have to throw 95, 100 pitches. Is probably a good thing. Just skip him and move on to the next one and keep it moving. If this were a tight race,
it's a much
you feel
different
a little
story.
different.
Yeah, they're up 4-1.
You feel a little differently. How you feeling this morning?
Feeling good. Feeling good. I think it's been kind of a weird 12 hours to process.
I'll say.
Like you were just saying, of course, all the news dominated right now by Shohei.
Sure.
And what goes from there. So it's been interesting. It's been an interesting time. And then the news we got this morning, Kobe will officially get a statue outside of Crypto.com Arena. They're going to do it on 2/8/24. It'd be before the Lakers take on the Denver Nuggets. So it's kind of, sometimes we walk in here and you're figuring out, okay, hey, we're reacting to this game, that game. There's no games to react to. It's just real reaction to things that are going on.
And the Otani thing, and let's just start right here. I do want to find out why. So Emily says to me this morning, she goes, just so you know, I'm a little slow this morning. Just a little slow. I'm like, okay, what did you do last night?
I'm going to give all of my energy for their show.
I understand.
I did all my work.
It happens.
Just am
No
hurting.
judgment. No judgment. It happens. I get it. But the Otani thing is just such a bummer. I was just talking with Cody.
The worst.
I was talking with Greg.
Yeah,
I did
the
the
worst.
Blue Review. I don't know if you know, I do a podcast with Bergman on a regular basis called The Blue Review that we
Do
put up
you
there.
do it with Berg or does Berg do it with you?
Well, on the days I'm there, he does it with me. He does it with other people, but when I'm there,
I
it's
also
Do you
how
like
guys always-
elbow him out of the screen?
we
Like
are
you kinda-
oddly close to
Yeah,
one
you guys
another.
look so weird.
Yeah.
You're sitting right next to each other, a little.
You know what you guys
squished
look
together
like?
in
You guys
frame.
look like you ever seen like back in the 1980s when they used to box out? You got two guys like right up next to you. That's kind of what you guys are. And I always feel like you're boxing out. Like the shifty guards, you got to watch them. You got to get a body on them.
I'm a
and
little
Berg,
bigger
I feel,
than him, so him getting
gotta be shifty.
him getting to the glasses, the odds are low. I feel like my just general physical presence is going to prevent him from getting a lot of rebounds. You can go check that out when they post that. But let's just kind of start right here because there are literally probably 20 or 30 different Otani angles that. When does he come back? Is it a second TJ? Who else has had two TJs? Who else has come back from it? Do the Dodgers change their offer? Is somebody there's just 10,000 different angles you can take at this, but I keep coming back to this. This sucks. It just sucks that the first guy, honestly, maybe the first guy since Ken Griffey Jr., maybe even before that is interesting to people who aren't baseball fans. You don't have to be a baseball fan to be a Shohei fan. You can be a supreme casual
1,000%.
and love what Otani has done.
Yeah.
And that he's not going to be able to do it for a while is such a bummer. It's bad for baseball. It's bad for Otani. It's bad for everybody involved because what makes him, the two-way thing, for the rest of this season, it's gone, and it's very, very likely that he's going to need a second Tommy John surgery, which means he won't be able to do it at all next year either. It just sucks.
I think it's very easy for us to get caught up in what Otani's doing and how special it is. And also on top of that, and we've actually talked a little bit about this. We've talked about, hey, if you go sign him somewhere, remember Michael was saying, if you're going to pay him, you got to pay him for $40 million for that bat, $40 million for that arm. Mm-hmm. And there was just kind of the concept of he's going to get $80 a year and this and that. And very rarely did we bring up what if something happens like that? It's so unique what he's doing, and it's so it's just incredible. We don't have any examples of what he's doing, but in the process of performing night in and night out the way he is, as great as he is, as dependent as the Angels are on him, as much as he wants to fight, and here we are in late August. They got no shot of making the playoffs.
No, they've lost 4 in a row again.
There's no opportunity here, but he's still giving it everything that he absolutely has. He's human.
I want to go back to something you said yesterday. You said, and this isn't funny. I shouldn't even kind of ironically laugh at it. You said yesterday,
could it get worse?
Trav, how could this have been worse? There's your answer. There's your answer. That he gets shut down from pitching because he has an elbow injury. That he has a tear in his UCL joint in his right elbow. That more often than not, way more often than not, a tear in the UCL joint means that you end up getting a Tommy John operation, which he's already had. That the question of, well, I guess it couldn't be, well, there's the answer. That he has an injury that could potentially alter the course of what was the most unique career in the history of Major League Baseball. And maybe maybe the golden age of Shohei Otani, we just saw it.
That's a bummer.
It's an incredible
awful
bummer. It's so disappointing because, and look, Jeff Passan wrote a great piece on this morning talking about this was always the thing. It's like we got so caught up in how many home runs is he going to hit, how many guys is he going to strike out, how much money is he going to make, where is he going to go, that
he's not human.
That the workload that required this amount of production was unsustainable. That the workload was, look, we were talking about it this morning. Believe it or not, Shohei Otani is made of flesh and bone. Believe it or not, he is, right? He's a human being. He's an amazing one that if you stress the body, if you ask it to do so many things, it breaks. Athletes get hurt. And it happened again. And I am so hopeful that he becomes what we know he can be again. I am so hopeful that he gets this healed, that it comes back, and he is Shohei Otani throwing 100 miles an hour and wiping guys out on the mound again. But there's at least now a real possibility that maybe he's not as good. Maybe he can't do both things full time anymore. It's just the reality of that he's a human being and that what he was doing was so extraordinary and that the injury component was always the biggest risk.
We also thought for a long time, like, oh, we're going to not get it again because no one can possibly repeat because he's just going to regress in pitching. It's not because of injury necessarily. It sucks that he could keep doing this perpetually forever, but then the injury catches you. You never want anybody to get injured.
The only silver lining in this is I'm going to use a Dodger pitcher as an example. Walker Buehler goes down, you're not seeing Walker Buehler. And if there's one thing, this is what makes Shohei Otani so great, is there very well will be the opportunity, even if he is shut down from pitching all of next season, you're still at least going to get to see Shohei Otani do the other thing that he does unbelievable. When I say silver lining, what I'm trying to say is that at least he's not going to be out of sight. At least it's not going to be, we just literally can't watch this guy for another year or whatever the case is. And that just kind of goes to his brilliance.
He can still steal bases. He can still hit home runs. I mean, hopefully,
Look, if he had never thrown a pitch ever, he would still be one of the more interesting free agents to hit the market in a long time. He's a 50 home run bat that's coming free. He's a 50 home run bat that's going to be an incredible demand. Even if and this isn't going to happen, obviously, if he just said, you know what, I'm done pitching. I'm bored. I don't want to do it anymore. There would still be a line around the block of teams that would be offering him big money. And you're right, we are going to get to see that. But Aaron Judge is Aaron Judge, and it's awesome. He's not within a billion light years of star power and interest of a guy like Otani because of what we've been talking about. And it's just a drag, man. I'm not an Angel guy, but I'm the hugest Otani guy. You're gonna and I still think that the Dodgers are in, which we'll get to. I still don't think another silver lining that we'll talk about. I honestly don't think this is going to affect his bottom line.
Well, that's going to be an interesting conversation.
I think
I'm curious to get your thoughts on that.
He will still get the vast majority of the money that was coming to him. He may have to wait a little bit longer to get it, but I think that he's going to be in a really good spot economically, which is good because the worst case would be that oh, hey, he didn't sign an extension, he didn't get the free agency, and now that $800 million offer that was out there is now gone. It's still going to be out there.
What's crazy is just look at the last 4 weeks for the Angels.
Oh, my goodness.
The last 4 weeks where trade deadline's coming. They make a decision, hey, we are not trading Shohei Otani. We're all in. Whatever prospects that they had, at least good ones, are out the door because they're going all in to try to make a playoff run. They come back from the trade deadline, All-Star break, trade deadline, whatever it was. First game they have is against the Atlanta Braves. They beat the Braves, and it's like they're three back.
Okay.
They're 3 back.
Yeah.
Since that moment, Trav, go look at the standings going from 3 back to, are they 10 now? Is it double digits now?
I think it's 10.5.
It might be 10.5. Why round it off? It's going to be 12 by the end of the weekend, right? It's just
it's over.
It's over.
It's over.
But you go from that.
Emily, take it easy over
Emily,
there.
what the heck is going on here?
And bull in a china shop, coming in here just wrecking things. And
Dumb writing.
Emily just Ireland that board.
She just literally threw our dry erase board that says, "Be committed to your craft." There's all these great quotes on there. It
or a,
literally
soft,
stars our
or a softball
lineup.
lineup from 2 months ago. What are the other? What are the other?
But that's, I mean, just to go from where it was, and then the news yesterday, you said it.
Stinks.
Could it get any worse? Yes,
It just
apparently
did.
you can.
It just did. Now, there's also some other silver linings to this. I really do think it opens up the possibility some teams that maybe were in the mix but not really in the mix to get more into it. We're obviously going to talk about what it means for the Dodgers and how they go about progressing here and what it means for Otani as far as his bottom line. Lots more Otani to get to. Of course, it is Kobe Day. We're going to spend some time drafting our favorite LA athletes ever. That's coming up at 12 o'clock, and I need to find out exactly how hungover Emily is. That's all coming up. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. It's giving you the chance to win all season long because right now when you bet on a Super Bowl winner, you can get bonus bets every time they win in the regular season. So visit FanDuel.com/play and start earning bonus bets with America's #1 sportsbook. That's FanDuel.com/play. 21 plus and present in Arizona, Connecticut, Iowa, Illinois, Louisiana. Permitted parishes only. Michigan, New Jersey, So, Al, before I ask some questions about her night last night,
It's a good beat, Jorge.
let me ask you. When you are, like, for instance, when you
Yeah.
go to Burning Spear concert.
Yeah.
And you were with Cousin Slee the night before.
Yep.
And you have a whole bunch of bourbons and then a bunch of tall cans of beer.
It was a lot of beers.
And maybe some other stuff.
And bourbons and maybe some other stuff.
Okay.
Yes.
You have
Yeah.
one of those nights.
Yeah.
The next day, you don't feel great, but do you ride the wave of where you like, you know what, I'm back. I'm okay. And then like 10 minutes later, no, I'm not back.
Yeah.
I feel. And then you think you're going to die, and then 10 minutes later, you're like, you know what, I'm actually not. And just constantly lying to yourself.
So it's an emotional roller coaster,
It is.
I think is the proper way to put it. And let's use the Burning Spear as a good example. I came in the next day, and I fugazied everybody. I was like, everything's fine. There's no problems. I didn't even tell you guys. I'm like, the show was good. I said nothing.
You pulled it off pretty good.
And that was also that
You
wasn't
didn't look great, but you pulled it off.
that wasn't an emotional roller coaster. That was I felt bad the whole way, and I just lied the entire time that I didn't feel bad.
Good.
The next day is when I opened up because it gave me a good 24-hour period to recover.
You probably
36
finally
hour period.
sober.
Probably finally sober. But I think Emily, because of her age, it's got to be a lot different than
Much quicker turnaround time.
Oh.
Much quicker turnaround
Much quicker,
time.
yeah.
So are you riding the wave right now, Emily, or are you back?
I'm feeling amazing. I could go run 10 miles.
You don't sound amazing.
She
no,
sounds
I
no.
feel-
You sound
I feel
great.
So great.
You sound
it's
great.
Like, it's usually like a day.
So did you mix it?
typically.
So what happened? You went to a concert.
Yeah, I went to the concert and I took the bus.
Who'd you see?
Saw Zach Bryant.
Okay.
So I am
Here at Crypto?
here at Crypto, and I'm like a casual fan of him. But we had
Me
opportunity
too.
to get the sweet tickets, and so it's a good chance to see him. I don't have to spend a bunch of money on it or whatever. So I was excited. I was going. My friend Katie was going to join me, and I hadn't seen her in a little bit, and she was arriving a little later. But I had a little drink at home as a pregame drink.
What'd you have?
I made this. I had like seltzers from Bud Light.
How many did you have?
Some of those. I had two.
Okay.
Just
Al,
that's,
keep track.
Yeah, what I got here.
Two?
It's always two, right? Too many.
Yeah. No, it's a two
Two's fine.
5% seltzers
Two's
before
fine.
I go to a concert.
Okay, so then you work your way over
and
here.
then I go here, and then
You can finally erase the board. Okay, so
Yeah.
2 seltzers.
then I come here, and I had a few.
Did you meet for a drink somewhere, or did you go into the building?
No, just went straight to crypto.com.
Okay.
And because I got there like right when the first opener was happening.
Okay.
And met up with Stephanie, and she had some alcohol in the suite, so that was fun.
What was in
very
the
nice.
suite?
Very nice.
I
What'd
am
you have?
not going to disclose how many drinks that I had in the
So,
suite.
yeah, well, I'll give you a little bit of an example. If the suite is stocked, right,
It was not bad.
that's a little bit of everything there. It's got a little bit of everything. And if I'm correct here, back in the day, they got the cabinets there, and they're locked when you're not there. But if it's your suite, you can unlock it. Who knows what's in there? It's like literally
Right.
walking into your own bar at
Your liquor
home.
cabinet. Yeah. Yeah. So was there beer there? I'm not saying you had any, but was
No.
there beer available?
Plead the fifth.
There was no beer.
Okay. Was there wine available?
No.
Was there liquor available?
Yes.
Was
Oh,
there
that-
brown liquor available?
Yes.
Were there clear liquors available?
Yes.
Did you perhaps make a clear and a brown liquor drink?
No. It was all clear.
Oh, you went
All clear.
clears.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well,
Yeah.
look. So, seltzer plus all clears, we're
You're in the clear.
all
just-
right.
Did you?
Yeah, I just had a few too many, and
Were there a lot of mixing with sugars that could kind of ruin the evening?
We only had either ginger ale or club soda, and so I had club soda.
Was
So
it all
we're
worth
talking vodka sodas is
Yeah.
what I'm deducing.
By the way,
here.
that interrogation was really good.
just asking questions.
That's all you did.
Yeah.
Ask questions, and she's like, "I'm not answering them," and then she answered everyone.
Hey, I'm just going to do yes or no answers.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna deduce how many I had.
The concert
Okay,
ends.
yes or no answers. Are you hammered right now?
No.
So the concert ends. Do
Yeah.
you? What's your friend's name?
Katie.
Do you and Katie decide to have a nightcap somewhere? No.
She has to go to work the next day. I always
so
have
did
to
you.
Work the next day. So obviously we're not gonna do that.
She's like, "No, I have the day off."
Her boyfriend picked us up, and
Okay.
he drove me back to my place, and then they went.
What
back
time
to
did you get
theirs.
home?
Roughly 11.
Okay, 11. Not that late. Still plenty of
Yeah.
time. Did
11
you?
is very
you're
No, I
home.
went right to bed.
Did you enjoy the concert?
I enjoyed the concert. Maggie Rogers came out because she has a song with Zach Bryant.
Okay,
So that
and I
was
know you're a
fun.
fan of hers.
Yeah, it was actually a really good song. I had a great time.
Okay, I'm going to go back to Slee here real quick.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I decide I'm going to go out with my buddies, I'm going to have a nice time. We're going to go to a game, we're going to go play a little golf, we're going to go do something, and maybe the tea time's a little later in the day, or we're going to meet up for drinks later. And let's say I have 2 drinks at home before I go out. Okay, I meet them, have a really good time, but maybe the night ends at a reasonable hour, say 10 o'clock when you roll back in. Do you, Alan Sliwa, because I've been guilty of this, say, I kind of want to keep this party going. I'm going to have another one at the house. You ever do that?
No.
If
I get to the house,
that's it.
All my consumption is either when I'm at the house before I go somewhere, wherever I am, and then by the time I get home, there's a very strong likelihood I'm now plan for the next day.
Jorge, you strike me as somebody that's on the Travis plan.
Dog, hell yeah, I'm in the Travis plan. I'm gonna free drink at the event, and come home, and you know what? Well, so I can sleep a little better.
Yeah, just to take the edge off, to wind down, to really kind of just end the evening on a high note.
I was already very much there.
On a
I did
high
not need it. I did not need a wind down.
Yeah, you get home, watch Sports Center, your late night.
One more.
Let's go.
Maybe you finish it, maybe you don't, but you almost certainly do.
Yep.
That's how it goes. Was there anything that grows out of the ground, perhaps, in your system?
No, and I probably should have had some because that usually helps my hangover.
You need something?
Come
here.
No, I'm good.
All right.
Yeah,
That doesn't sound that bad, Em.
Trav, I just opened up my backpack.
The jacket, like you're selling watches in Times Square.
Yeah. I did one of those things where I probably should have also not been on my phone and texted certain people, so that's also fun too.
Can we disclose who you texted?
No, just some friends.
Oh, okay.
And
Friends.
maybe some other people, but I probably shouldn't have texted them.
Okay. Was it in
She
the
went
morning?
on Twitter and started going
Exactly.
at people.
I ranted about the debates. It was great. No.
The phone at that point of the night, always a bad idea,
Yeah.
right? You might even, although the work,
Even if it's like I tend to just be very nice to
Okay.
people at that time, so I just send
I
really
just want
nice
to tell you how
things
much
friends.
I care about you.
Yeah,
that
kind of stuff. I'm like really mushy when I get to that state, and so
Okay.
it's all just that stuff. But it's more of like, I should not have.
You're
this
not
person
a.
didn't need
Let me
this.
tell you what your problem
No,
is.
that's not me in that point in stage. So yeah, I had a great time. Zach was a great performer. Got to know Stephanie a little bit more because I hadn't really hung out with her before, so that was really fun. So she saw a great side of me.
Excellent.
And she just said, texted me, I plead the fifth. So
well, I have a few. Were you guys like kind of partners in this whole activity last night?
I definitely got more after it. I think than she
okay.
did.
All right. Well,
Was it
good for
worth
you.
it?
Sounds like it.
Yes or no question? No. Okay.
No.
No, not worth it to be this hungover today when we have an important thing to talk about, which is Shohei Otani.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Did you have your first thought when you woke up? What time is your alarm set for?
Like 5:30.
Okay, 5:30. 5:30. What's the first thing you think of?
Oh,
Snooze.
sugar.
Exactly. That's exactly what
I think,
same thing.
why am I getting up right now?
Did you have the I can't do this anymore moment?
That only, by the way, lasts for a few hours, and
I was-
then it's over.
Well,
And you're
my
like, I'm
first
back.
thing is I can't call out because there's not a chance that anybody will believe my story that it's I'm out.
Not if you were around other work people last night.
Exactly.
Not a chance.
There's no chance, and I was like, I have to be here. It's more of like I'm gonna have a great day today.
Did you at any point? Because Lee, this is a common Travis maneuver.
Yeah.
Where, let's say, in her scenario, if I'm putting myself at about 9 o'clock last night, there was a moment where she could have said, you know what, I need to start dialing it back so I'm good to go tomorrow.
Yep.
Or it's you know what, I can get through one day. You have that moment. You got the angel on one shoulder saying, hey, look, you've had a good time. Just stop. You'll be fine. You'll still have a good time. And then there's the devil saying, you could have a better time. You could definitely have a better time.
It kind of just takes care of itself. Like, I think there's always that the one drink that you have that you're like, I don't need this, but I'm in. After that, it's like, yeah, I might as well just
Never
keep
one
going.
More. It's always more
Yeah.
or none. And
Yeah.
she made the more decision less. It's fine.
Hey, but
It's
I
fine.
had a
It
safe
is
plan. I didn't drive.
Good
I
for you.
was
Sure.
with
I'm
friends.
jealous.
I had a great time, and just wish it was a Friday
Not so
instead
much-
of Wednesday.
Yeah, well, That's the thing that you can.
Today
muscle
almost
through
feels
a
like
Friday.
a Friday
It
in
does.
a weird way.
It does a little bit. If you want to be in house to watch USC kick off the season on Saturday at the Coliseum, be sure to listen to Trav and Slee and Sedano and Cap today for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets. Trojans Ticket Thursday today on 710 ESPN, and you can get your tickets now for Saturday's game at usctrojans.com/tickets. All right, so we'll start here and we'll continue. Otani's injury, torn UCL ligament in his right elbow, which will shut him down for the rest of the season on the mound. But as of 10:25 this morning, we still expect he played in the second game of that doubleheader last night and had a double. Go figure. He's not going to pitch the rest of the season. UCL tear almost always leads to a Tommy John surgery, which would be his second, which would mean he doesn't pitch at all next year. Does this bring some teams into the mix that perhaps otherwise might not have been near the top of the list? For instance, and let's use the Angels as the best example of this. I can't imagine that the Angels at several points over the last several seasons haven't gone to Otani and said, listen, what do you want? How about we'll give you $600 million for 10 years? How about whatever the numbers are?
You name the price.
You name the price and we'll do it. What if this morning they come back in and say, hey, listen, in light of recent developments, we will still give you exactly what we were offering you before. In fact, just to show you the level of commitment we have, we're going to sweeten it a little bit. We're going to actually give you another year or two, or we're going to add another $5 million, whatever it is. But we're not your injury, just to show you how much we believe in you, we love you, we want you. We're not backing off at all. In fact, we're coming back in again. Or Seattle could do it. San Francisco could do it. Really, anybody could do it. But if the most likely bidders, the Dodgers, the Giants, and some of these others saying, listen, man, 2 TJs, we got to pump the brakes here a little bit, or we got to change the terms. Doesn't it bring a team like the Angels right near the top of the list again to say, we'll still give you whatever you want?
Who was it? Was it Buster Olney that said that he thinks the Angels... You have it there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's going to be the Angels because he has more value of the Angels than any other team. He knows the organization. He knows that they'll defer to him. And if you're an interested team in Otani, we heard during the winter that the Dodgers were loading up and getting ready to pursue him in free agency. He becomes a much more difficult equation because you just don't know what kind of production he's going to give you on that side of the ball. If you're the Mets and you're restructuring your team going forward, how much are you going to be willing to throw at a player who may be able to pitch a lot, may be able to pitch very little? They just don't know. I think this pushes him back to the Angels, Greeny.
Let's see when we come back, because I know we got a break coming. I actually couldn't disagree more. I'm still having a very difficult time trying to think that after all this and the 6 years with the Angels, that the Angels are in line because of this to bring him back. We'll do that coming up next. Stay right here. Travis and Sliwa Show, 710 ESPN.
If you get hurt in an accident, you need to know who to call. You need to know what to do next. And it's as simple as calling Sweet James. If you're injured in an accident, call the accident attorneys at Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-900-0000. Because not all accident attorneys are created the same. Sweet James, they've been awarded best attorneys in America. Sweet James is driven by their passion to help their clients, and I can speak to it firsthand. After my family's been involved in accidents, I've called Sweet James, and it's worked out great. My friends and family have called Sweet James after their accidents, and they speak highly of it as well. So if you want that firm like Sweet James that has a winning record, he's collected over $1 billion in his nearly 20-year career. He's collected more in a year than most people do in their entire careers. Call the accident attorneys at Sweet James. Whether it's a truck accident, a motorcycle accident, a car accident, a dog bite, call Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. 1-800-9-MILLION. Do not take on the insurance companies by yourself. They do not have your best interest in mind. Call the accident attorneys at Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION and sweetjames.com.
Sedano.
excited in my friend's video too, but I do not have access to that video.
I was just wondering if you even remember if he played this song or not.
Yeah. And then she tripped off the stage, which was kind of embarrassing.
She tripped?
So she tripped as she was like walking down the stage after, because it was in the middle of the court, like where the court would be. So she got off the stage and then she tripped. And
Yeah, it happens.
Oh, so you drank them and it affected her.
Yeah, exactly.
It was coming off of her like fumes. It's how it happened.
Of course.
What's up, Berg?
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Good. How you guys
What's up,
doing?
fool?
What's up, fool?
What's up?
You guys were
Oh,
already
I
so
missed that. Oh, why you got to make me get into my feels?
Oh, he's great. I don't know if you know, but he's awesome.
I didn't know that. No,
It's
I
really
didn't.
happy.
It's really nice to have
I
him on
love
the team.
Bryant. I think Bryant does a great job.
Brian's great.
He's doing a great job. We had
Jorge,
years. I had years with Jorge.
No, it's Jorge.
Multiple-time man
And
of the
he
award
left
winner.
me.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Absolutely.
Lucky for
Back
you
to back.
guys.
All right, so I want to play this
Do those
again.
Mandy's count for our show? Even
They
though
do
he
now.
did it on their show.
It's like
If he brings them
Look,
in.
it's on the back of his producer reference page. If there were
Two-time.
such a thing,
We just don't
two-time
put the
Mandy Award.
details.
Right, exactly. We have a two-time Mandy Award
At the
winner
top, actually.
on our show. Right at the very top. Right at the very
Come on.
top. So Otani has a UCL tear. He's not going to pitch the rest of this year. It's seemingly looking like he won't pitch next year, which we'll talk about in a second. But Buster Olney, I want to play this again, said that he thinks that what happened in the last 12 hours or so actually helps the Angels with their pitch to bring him back to Anaheim.
I think it's going to be the Angels because he has more value of the Angels than any other team. He knows the organization. He knows that they'll defer to him. And if you're an interested team in Otani, we heard during the winter that the Dodgers were loading up and getting ready to pursue him in free agency. He becomes a much more difficult equation because you just don't know what kind of production he's going to give you on that side of the ball. If you're the Mets and you're restructuring your team going forward, how much are you going to be willing to throw at a player who may be able to pitch a lot, may be able to pitch very little? They just don't know. I think this pushes him back to the Angels, Greeny.
Trav, I couldn't disagree more. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, but there is not a scenario. If you're Shohei Otani, explain to me this. You just spent 6 years with this organization. All you've been talking about is I want to compete. All I want to do is have a chance to get in the postseason and at the highest stage show what I can do. Why would I go back to the Angels? Like, what would be... By the way, as good as my arm is, that's no longer available for the Angels, which means X amount of more games they're probably going to lose because I can't use what one of my best weapons are. They're so reliant on him. Everything he does, ultimately for the Angels, it's almost for nothing because he can't do what he ultimately wants to do, which is compete for a World Series. I don't think the money is going to be... It could be different, but I don't think it's going to be that much different. And I don't think Shohei is going to be motivated by just the dollar sign. At this stage of his career, money's going to come. That's not going to be an issue for Shohei. Winning is what he's been missing. Now that he can't pitch, he's going to go back to the Angels. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay, there's two things at play here. I agree with you, but there's two things at play that could change from what you just said to what I think Buster is kind of leaning towards, and what I think. Put it to you this way: I thought that the chances of him going back to the Angels was about 1 in a
1%.
million.
Okay.
I think it was way less than 1%. Now I think it's like 1 in 100. Now I think there is a 1% chance, but it presupposes two things. Number one, the other suitors need to balk at the price. The rest of the rest, I don't think so either. But
There could be a number where they balk.
there could
Yeah.
be a look. We're still in at full price plus a kicker, and everyone else is like, I just can't get there because of the injury history. That I was going to pay for two things, and now it could only be one. I'm going to wait. That's presupposition number one. The other thing is what Buster said in there. I think is really underrated. That they defer to him. They let him call the shots. They let him do what he wants to do. They let him be the one that decides when he pitches, when he doesn't, when he works out, when he doesn't, what he does media. Like he is on his own program. If the other suitors are teams that are saying, listen, we're buying you at this price, we have to be involved in your rehab. We have to be involved in your return to the game. You got to work with our training staff. You got to work with this. You're going to pitch on this schedule, not your schedule, our schedule. And by the way, at $600 million, it's not an unreasonable request to say we need to be involved in this. If he just wants to be on his own program, which the Angels have let him do, that could be a part of it as well.
Yeah, it absolutely can, and that's why it becomes something that is a possibility that it goes back to the Angels. But if you're Shohei, if you actually just put it just into Shohei Otani, Why would he ever want to go back there? Everything that Al was saying is right. He has a bad management. He has a bad owner. He has a bad front office staff. He's a bad. We can't. Bad
no
team
prospects.
Doesn't
There's
get.
no.
You,
what's
you
the
know,
future
6
look
years
like?
of not making the playoffs.
Don't blow past the fact that
You
they
lose
seem to
every
have
year.
way more injuries to pitchers than your normal team, and
Exactly.
they don't rehab
the
them
training
particularly
staff is
effectively.
bad. Why would he want to go back to that specific spot? And if he does, I think I look at him differently because he looks like he's Mike Trout.
I don't disagree with anything you're saying, but if the other prices come down, even if they just come down by 10 or 15%.
You think it's only money driven?
No, I don't. But there is a point where if the Angels are offering $7 and the next best offer is $550, that's a huge difference, right? That's a huge difference. If the Angels are offering 10 years and the next best offer is $6, that's a huge difference.
Can I tell you, you're right. It's a huge difference. And I actually still kind of think Shohei will say
He might.
This contract, the next place that I go to, I'm making a decision on, do I have a shot to win a World Series or not? And I think it's safe to say you can go get your $700 million or whatever dollar amount that is with the Angels. You're also kind of assuring yourself exactly what your history has shown. You're not going to win.
No.
And I really feel, and Otani, this is probably one of the things I respect more about him than anything else. That seems to be the priority. Trav, the guy's never going to have to worry about money the rest of his life.
Right.
And I know we know that. And I know you could say, when you're looking at a number, that says 700. That says 550. That's a $150 million difference. I don't know why I feel this, but I feel like if there's one person to say, I ain't worried about that, I would figure it's Shohei Otani.
I don't disagree, but
I disagree. I agree with you.
It went from literally 1 in a million that he goes.
That there's a path now.
Here's why. Before, it was just simply he loves Orange County and none of us knew it, and this is where he wants to spend the rest of his life, and we just didn't know that's true, and he decides to stay there. That was it's not baseball, it's not ownership, it's not winning, it's just I love it here and I don't want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I thought it was a virtual 0% chance. Now it's not zero, it's just really, really low. It is a better chance today than it was yesterday. I don't think it's a good chance, but it went from virtually zero to something more than virtually zero.
And just because Artie Moreno will offer him a lot of money is essentially what you're
Look,
saying.
if I'm Artie Moreno, okay, and I've been trying to get him to sign for the last 2
Couple years, yeah.
This morning, I'm saying, guys, my offer's still there. It hasn't changed one iota. I will everything I offered you yesterday is still today because there's a chance, and we're going to get to this coming up, especially with the Dodgers, that yesterday's price isn't today's price anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You're buying something entirely different. Today, Otani is a different player than he was yesterday. Drastically so. Drastically. Not just in if this were his first TJ, you'd kind of go, it happens to everybody. Just keep it moving. It's not. This is potentially his second one. He's a much different asset than he was 24 hours ago. Wildly different. And if the Dodgers, the Mariners, the Giants, or any of these other teams are like, listen, man, we would be so crazy to do that on a guy coming off his second TJ potentially. It's not totally out of the question.
Can I throw this your way? What do you think happens? The majority of the teams that had interest in Shohei Otani, that already knew, and those discussions have been going on for the last 6 months. Hey, if he becomes available, here's our plan. Mm-hmm. This is what we're going to do. This. How significant do you think those plans have changed for a lot of those teams? And just like you said, this could be an opportunity. Changed. Just like you said, this could be an opportunity for the Angels to say, let's give him the money. Does that also open the door to a Steve Cohen to say, okay, you know what?
Sure it does.
Now my number, I'm not going to jack up my number the way I had it before. All these other teams that are saying shorter years, maybe more money, whatever the case is, does that open up opportunities for some of these other spots?
It opens up opportunities for worse teams. It opens up opportunities for teams that are more poorly run. Because
if it's money driven, though, it's only if it's money driven.
But it's mostly money driven. But again, there's so many things that we just assume we know to be true about this guy that we think he wants to stay on the West Coast. It seems like, but has he actually ever said that? No.
True. Yeah.
Has he actually ever said that he wants to be in a place that's this, that? No. We're just a place with a large Japanese, community. We don't know, right? That there's all of these things that we suppose to be true that we don't know for sure. I generally agree, but look, if I'm the Mariners or one of these teams that was probably third or fourth in line, I'm coming in so over the top today. It's my best chance because the Dodgers, which we're going to do coming up at 11 o'clock, the Dodgers are going to still make a massive play to try to get him, but it might be a slightly different play to try to get him that may offend him, that may be something he doesn't want to do, that could be something that just goes, well, that's not what I want. That's what I want. And Mariners are a better team.
May open the door.
It could open the door in a way that wasn't open yesterday. We'll get to that coming up at 11. But let me remind you, right now, it's a Trojan Ticket Thursday on 710 ESPN. Caller number 7 right now, 877-710-ESPN. You win a family 4-pack of tickets to Saturday's USC game at the Coliseum. Kickoff is at 5 o'clock, and you can get your tickets now for Saturday's game at usctrojans.com/tickets. Caller number 7, 877-710-ESPN. You win a family 4-pack if you are caller number 7 right now. Hey, did you see coming up next?
And it is Travis and Sliwa, and it's time for the segment we do around this time, 10:40 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Hey, did you see that sky today?
Did you guys see that?
Basically, the days we don't do Ask Slee, we do this thing. It's called Hey, Did You See?
Did you see that?
this.
God, I did it.
Did you see the memo about this?
I mean, I'm excited. You can tell by my read. Hey, did you see?
Did you happen to see?
It's time for Hey, Did You See?
Hey, man, did you touch my drum set?
Have you read this?
Right now on Travis and Sliwa.
Hey, Jorge, did you see
sir.
that Emily went out way too long and way too hard last
Hey,
night?
fool.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I noticed because on the way back from LAFC, there was a bunch of traffic trying to get back in the building. And we're like, what the hell's going on? And it was a concert. And now that she's telling me she went to the same concert, I'm like, okay. everybody
All
was
the
walking around
pieces
the
are
same
coming
way she
together.
was. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Fu, did you see that Alex Vezia looks like he's wearing the tightest pants I've ever seen?
He always does.
He's working with
Yeah.
leggings.
Yeah,
He's got some thighs going for him.
feeling good about it. Look, if
Yeah.
I were fit like Alex Vezia, I would have on snug pants as well. I'd be peacocking that. What do you got, Jorge?
All right, Fu. So did you see? Yesterday we were talking about, it's Kobe Day today.
Yep.
8/24. And yesterday we talked about that moment when somebody sees you on TV and whatnot. So to me, that moment, after being next to Kobe, getting the interview for the station, it was one of those moments where I went to my car after the show, after the post game, after the game, the whole thing, and I took it all in and sat there for a minute. And I said, you know what? When I was in college, I wanted to be in radio. I wanted to work in TV. And that moment was one of those moments where, you know what? I made it, and it's beyond just working in radio and TV. When was that moment for you guys?
I've had a couple. The most recent one and the most impactful one, I'm 99% sure I've told you this story, Al. It was the Super Bowl at SoFi a couple of years ago. And I'm sitting in the press box at my seat. You get, I think everybody knows this, but you get an assigned seat in the press box. You go there, and it's got your name on a little card, and that's your seat for the game.
Not the same story.
And I was in a different seat than I typically is. When I do pre and post, I have one seat, and when the Super Bowl, I had a different seat.
Yeah.
So I go to a different seat, and I'm looking at the cards next to me, and immediately to my left is Jim Hill. And Jim comes by, he sits down next to me, and Jim and I don't know each other well, but we know each other.
Sure.
And we're chit-chatting a little bit, and I had the moment that you're talking about, Jorge, which is, if you would have told me when I was 15 years old that I'm sitting next to Jim Hill covering the Super Bowl with the Los Angeles Rams, and this is what I'm doing for a living, I would have thought that you
In
were
LA.
in L.A., in my hometown.
In one of the coolest stadiums you'll ever see.
I would have thought this was the most unbelievable fever dream you could ever come up with. And I told Jim that. And I said exactly that
He was
to
like,
him.
cool, buddy.
And I said to him, I never ask anybody.
Jim's it feels like he's in the moment a lot.
Can we take a picture?
Yeah.
And he's like, absolutely. And maybe he was shining. I don't think he was because he's a nice guy. But he's like, that's really cool. I thank you for telling me that. And that was it for me. Just that I can't believe this is actually happening to me.
For me, and by the way, those are... Every time you do tell that story, I envision you sitting there just trying to soak it all in.
I used to watch Jim Hill every night on TV for my
And the
entire
franchise
life.
just came back, and they built this $6 billion stadium, and then
The team that I rooted for as a kid is back, and here we are.
And they're winning a Super Bowl at SoFi in LA.
No,
okay.
crazy.
Mine would be, 2020, Lakers win the NBA championship. And the run to get there, it's my first year that I'm doing pre, half, post. I'm doing the whole thing. Lakers get to the NBA Finals. They end up winning an NBA championship. And I'm doing a post-game show, and it's like an extended post-game. We're doing it for as long as possible. And at the time, Allison Bogley, who was the PR director for the Lakers, had a really good relationship with her. Here they are. They just won the championship. And we're trying to figure out, can we get some players here? Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard, go down the list. It didn't matter who. And it was literally them, she has the phone, and they're starting their celebration. She's passing the phone to, different players that you're spending a minute to. And when the post-game show ended, and the Lakers had just won, and they tied the Boston Celtics for number 17, and I'm sitting in the seat doing the post-game show, I'm like, I don't know what you want me to tell you here.
That's cool.
I'm like, you guys can fire me right now. I already won. So that was one of my moments right there.
So for me, it's similar to Travis. It was that Super Bowl. You're going, and it's my first year working here. It's my first year going to football games and getting the opportunity to be in the booth when JB called the final play of that game.
That was cool,
and it was
too.
a great call from JB. It was just the cool feeling of like, wow, this is like what everybody hopes to do if you're ever in this business, is you get to see these big moments happen. I also that same game too, I was sitting next to a guy from Germany and a guy from England, and it's like it's just so interesting that like everybody across the world is coming to cover this thing. The other time that I'm thinking about is when the first media day that we had to go to, when LeBron stood like a foot away from me, and I was like, this is this guy, this great, one of the greatest of all time, standing right next to me.
I was like, you know what? He's not as athletic as I thought.
If you saw LeBron in 31 flavors, it'd be the highlight of your life. Never mind if you see him and you're actually doing a little work. What's next, Fu?
Okay, so I'm going to keep it local here. So I don't know if you guys seen this clip from Mookie Betts on Bleacher Report. He does something called On Base with Mookie Betts. Yeah, I'll let them do the talking. Hold on.
That's what you think.
On base, off base, the Dodgers uniforms are more classic than the Red Sox.
I think that's on base. I think the Dodger white is the best uniform in baseball.
I think it's the most classic uniform in baseball.
I agree.
Yeah, I love putting it on. Not even just because it's the Dodgers and any other. It's just the uniform is just dope.
It's a good fit. It's hard for that uniform to not look on look good on somebody.
So he's talking to Kike Hernandez, and we both know that they played for the Red Sox. So do you guys agree? Is a Dodger uniform a classic uniform?
So I would, you've kind of sold me more into this since we started doing the show, where you say that, no, that's as classic as it gets, as iconic as it gets. It's not that they're not classic. I've always thought, when I think baseball, I think of the pinstripes. I think of the New York Yankees as the most classic of all of them. I think of the Yankees. But of course, it's a classic uniform. I'm going to go back to this. Between the Yankees and the Dodgers, I think of that jersey first. When I think of baseball, I think of the pinstripes.
The question at the beginning between the Red Sox and the Dodgers is a no-brainer. The Red Sox have new uniforms frequently.
Yeah.
The Red Sox turn over their logo is the same.
They got that UCLA looking.
They've got their City Connects look like they're playing at Jackie Robinson Field in Westwood. It's ridiculous.
But it's the Boston Marathon one, but yes.
It is, but they turn these things over. They have red jerseys. They have their white jerseys.
Which
they have
takes
all
away
these different
from
things.
It being a classic.
And they've had the V-necks over the years. The Dodger uniform that Clayton Kershaw wears today is virtually indistinguishable from the one that Sandy Koufax wore. It's almost exactly the same. There's some subtle differences along the way. It's that unbelievable white. It's Dodger blue, which is its own certain thing. And it's that damn red number on the chest.
Yeah.
It's the Dodgers are not red, but there's a red number there that just pops like crazy. Yeah. The Yankees are probably the most identifiable, but very closely second to the Dodgers.
Yeah, so that's it.
That's it?
Yeah, you got one more.
I want to talk more about the Dodgers.
I got one more.
Hit me with
one
more.
Let's do it.
We'll go quick.
So you guys remember those videos where people would dip their hot dogs in?
Oh, yeah.
And then take a bite out of it?
To the beer? Is it dipping? Yeah.
So Oscar Mayer created a wiener straw. So you can stick in your beer and drink out of it. Is that the grossest thing ever?
Yes. Yes. I don't need a meat straw.
I'll send you guys a picture.
Okay. First of all, who drinks beer out of a straw?
Some crazy people.
Beer is meant to be drank out of a glass, a can, or a bottle, right? It's not a straw beverage.
Yeah.
It's not a 7-Up.
Carbonation really gets in the way.
Yeah. It's gross, man. Look, the hot dogs are great. Beers are great. We don't have to have them at the same time in the same bite.
This is why it's not the grossest thing ever, is because I have definitely took a bite of a hot dog, and while I'm chewing my hot dog, took a sip of my beer. So technically, it's not the grossest thing in the world because that's happened.
Have you ever just had a sip of your beer without the hot dog?
Of course.
So why do you have to have hot dog? If you're drinking it through the meat straw, it's always hot dog and beer.
The concept I would never do, but I'm just saying that I have definitely taken a bite of my dog and a sip of my beer.
One or the other, or both, or one, or not the other.
Put it all in a bowl, like a soup.
Why not throw some popcorn in there, too?
Add some cheese to your side, man.
Put it all in there.
Gross,
all right,
gross.
that's it, Foos.
All right, Otani is injured. Otani is a free agent. The Dodgers were at the top of the list. Is it still the same? That's next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
So it's Mamba Day, Kobe Bryant Day. It's 8/24 because those are both of his numbers while he played for the Lakers. Yeah. So my question to you guys is, which era is the better Kobe, 8 or 24?
All right, so I think this is 24 is when Kobe became, I'm on my own. This is me. This is everybody runs through me. This is my squad. It's my franchise. It's my organization. Pal, you're coming to play with my team. I think the better of the two is 24, but my favorite Kobe is 8 because he was a young, had no idea. He thought he was probably better than he really was fighting with Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal, that it's his squad, I'm not waiting for anybody, had the fro when he was young, was telling everybody relax in the playoffs when Shaq would foul out. It was just the cockiest of them all. The better Kobe was 24. My favorite Kobe was this young kid, number 8.
I like drama and conflict and unresolved issues. That was the 8, right? That would, like you said, he and Shaq were, okay, is this going to work? To, oh, hell yes, it's going to work. To, wait, are they going to really break this thing up before we've gotten all of it taken care of? I mean, we still talk about it. If they wouldn't have had those differences, what could they have gotten done?
Do you know how many times that conversation has come? You're talking with a buddy when somebody says, they only won 3 together? They only played 8 years together? How did Shaq not retire a Los Angeles Laker?
All of those things. But again, like we talked about yesterday, you can't have 2 number ones. You can't have those 2 personalities both be comfortable sharing the space in perpetuity. It just doesn't work like that. That Kobe was a number 1 from the second he showed up, just no one else knew it. And then once the time everybody else knew it, Shaq was like, I'm not even close to being done yet. I'm not ready to do this yet. And it was inevitable, unfortunately.
And popularity, you had a lot of people that loved Shaquille O'Neal. You had a lot of people that loved Kobe Bryant. Even in that time, right? There was a little bit of, like we were saying yesterday, when they had to make a decision, and Dr. Jerry Buss is like, I'm going with Kobe. Guys like you and me were like,
sure about that? Yeah.
Are you sure that's the right decision? Clearly it was the right decision.
It is a Trojan Ticket Thursday on 710 ESPN. Caller number 7 can win a family 4-pack of tickets to Saturday's USC game at the Coliseum. Kickoff is coming up at 5 o'clock. You can get your tickets now at usctrojans.com/tickets. Caller number 7 to 877-710-ESPN. Here's the number again, 877-710 ESPN. Caller number 7 wins 4 tickets right now. So go ahead and start dialing. You got a chance to go see SC and San Jose State this Saturday at the Coliseum. And you probably need to be in person unless you're one of the 8 people that has the Pac-12 network on your package. Not
9. I got it.
Yo, you got it? Yeah. I didn't count Jorge, so Jorge's in for 9.
Oh, do you have it, or do you know a guy?
No, I have it.
He has. Okay. Listen,
have all of it.
Listen,
I have all of it, man.
He has. Think of high school football games in Texas. If they got a package,
Waco.
He's got it.
Football games in Edmonton, he's got it. Yeah, high school football games in Guadalajara, he's got it. It doesn't matter.
Hey, what was the final score in Mumbai yesterday in cricket?
Right, he's got the highlights. What do you want?
Exactly.
Yeah, Jorge, you got a guy. You got a guy. I understand how it is.
I used to have a guy.
Yeah, right.
I don't have a guy anymore.
If you were curious, I still don't get why SC's going to the Big Ten. Well, try to find the game on Saturday afternoon and see how that goes, and ask yourself that question all over again. There's your answer, because 1 out of every 12 people has the channel.
I know this is not top of line or anything. See what might happen to Stanford and Cal? Did you see their?
I missed it.
So
Otani.
They're basically being recruited to the ACC, and it looks like they're probably going to end up in the ACC with SMU. Stanford, Cal, SMU joining the ACC, and the only way.
What does the A and the C, the first D, stand for? Atlantic Coast.
Atlantic
if I remember.
Coast. I wouldn't worry too much about the names anymore.
At least Big Ten is big, right? It's big. It goes from coast to coast.
Yeah.
You just got to change the Atlantic Coast means the Atlantic Coast.
So the idea is, and the way they're only going to get in, SMU, for an example, will give up 7 years of TV money. We won't get a dime. Just get us in the ACC. Stanford and Cal, some kind of resolution there where I don't think they're going to get the full amount that some of the other ACC schools are. It's not about money at all.
Do you know what Clemson is going to do to a team like Cal? I mean, I know that there's weird games every year, but good luck, fellas.
I know.
Good luck.
There's your Pac-12.
Yeah. So who's
the
left?
final
Washington
pieces.
State and Oregon State?
Yeah.
That's it?
They're probably going to end up somewhere in the Mountain West.
All right, so obviously more Kobe coming up in a little bit. It's 8/24 day. It's Kobe Day. Otani got hurt yesterday. He went out and pitched in the first game. Let's go back a little bit here. Yesterday was his first start in about 10 or 12 days because he had missed his start in Texas because
tightness.
He had a tired arm. Arm fatigue is what they were talking about. As a former pitcher, certainly never at the level of Otani, but as somebody who pitched through college, when you say your arm is tired, it means my arm is killing me. It means that I can't really go out there and do it.
That there's pain?
Typically.
Okay.
Typically. It's because sometimes you don't want to say you're hurt because that means that they're going to go take a look. They're going to go, hey, let's figure it out. If we just say, hey, my arm's feeling a little dead right now, it's code words. Pitches yesterday in the first game. Angels had a doubleheader yesterday, and in the middle of the second inning, after getting 4 outs in the game, he says, this isn't working. We find out last night that he has a torn UCL ligament. Let's go to the Dodgers for a second. The Dodgers are expected to be near the top of the list of destinations for him. He's not going to pitch the rest of this year, and it's very likely he does not pitch next year. Keep in mind, he had a Tommy John surgery, Otani did, in 2018, did not pitch the 2019 season, did swing the bat, and then the 2020 season is weird, right? Because it was the pandemic. And
60 games.
60 games, and as a pitcher, that means you're only making a very small handful of starts, right? You're not putting a ton of stress. 2021, here's the full Otani experience. He's knocking out home runs. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. So if you're following a similar path, there's a scenario where Otani does not pitch next year and then is eased into a role in 2025. So maybe the best version of him again is not until 2026. The Dodgers have all sorts of openings in the rotation next year. The Dodgers desperately want Shohei Otani. Does it change the way they go about it? Because what they don't do is by players that are getting older.
Yeah.
What they don't do is by players who are in their decline. What they don't do is typically go long-term deals on pitchers. What they typically don't do is buy guys that are very expensive coming off of injuries. Otani will be all of these things. Does it change the way that they go about it?
I guess my question is this. Is it fair to say that whatever the normal rules are, it feels like everyone is going outside those rules to have an opportunity for Shohei Otani? Whatever the normal rules are for a baseball player, he's not the normal rules. So I think it changes everything of how you approach Shohei Otani. Is Shohei Otani going to be the exception for the Los Angeles Dodgers to say, I kind of don't care what we've done in the past. I don't care the structure that I don't care about the game plan. I don't care about, I know we've been this successful, all that. That's Shohei Otani. Because if it's not us, it's going to be somebody else.
Somebody's going to pay full price.
And if it's somebody else, then that means that's the price of the home. And if you want the home, then you got to pay for it. So I think kind of a roundabout way of saying that if you're the Los Angeles Dodgers, now maybe, just maybe, he wants to be a Dodger. And maybe that's enough for him to say, I just want to play for the Dodgers. It's an organization. It's a franchise that understands what it's doing. It's going to give me the best opportunity to win every single year. Not I can make the playoffs once every 3 years. Maybe that changes some stuff. But that's the only thing that changes. Because if it's coming down to, I want to play for a good franchise. I want to be on the West Coast, let's use as an example. I want a chance to win and take care of me. I'm a unicorn. They don't make them like me. Well, San Francisco and Seattle and some of these other teams are going to say, well, if you ain't paying it, we're going to pay it.
That's exactly right. Because if you want him, you got to pay.
You got to go get him.
Because somebody is going to do it. The Dodgers are probably looking at each other, and they're not having the, are we going to change our offer? They're having the, do we still do it or not? Right? Because we can't come back down for all the reasons that you just said. You can't say, hey, listen, you're coming off your second TJ. The list of guys that have had 2 TJs have been good is like 1.5 names long. We already have 2 guys coming off 2 TJs.
Dustin May and Walker Buehler
are both on their second TJs. By the way, I think there's a very good chance that Tony Gonsolin is unavailable next year, because if they've already shut him down now, and what I'm hearing in the universe is that he's
could
very
be something
unlikely.
serious.
Something very serious.
I mean, Kershaw's older and he's always
Kershaw
injured.
could walk. What if they win the
Julio
World Series?
could walk away.
Julio will walk away.
Come on,
we'll get to
Kershaw.
that in a second. But Kershaw could say, listen, they win the World Series this year. I got nothing left to do here, man.
I'm good.
I'm good. I'm gonna walk into retirement. That's not off the table. If we want him, not only do we have to do it, we have to do exactly what we were prepared to do from the beginning. So whatever their offer was going to be, I don't think it changes it at all. At all. I think that if anything, you almost have to do we need to go even bigger? Because now those other teams may have an opportunity to snag him for the reasons that we've been talking about. And this is the weirdest part of all. And I was talking with some people this morning, and I hadn't thought of this, but it makes way too much sense. Follow me on this, Al. There's a weird way where this is actually good for Shohei Otani financially, because here's what he's going to ask for.
Okay.
And again, if he's asking for it, he's probably going to get it because somebody's going to give it to him. Coming off this injury, I'm going to need a player option at the end of my 3rd or 4th year.
Sure.
I'm going to need, because if I do come back and I'm the pitcher that everybody thinks that I am, I want to hit free agency again.
Let's update this.
Let's change the terms. That if the number was 60 and it's still 60, but I'm not quite sure where it's going to be moving forward, why don't we put a little player option in here for me? That way, if I don't come back, I'm locked in.
Yep.
I get my 10 years and I get all my money. But if I do hit it, and let's say it's the Dodgers. Let's say that the Dodgers say, we're at 60, but we can only get to 55 now, but we'll give you that option. Okay, well, what if he smashes it out of the park and he's the Cy Young Award winner again? He gets to be a free agent again in a few years. He gets to have 2 bites at the apple. So you get the first 3 years of this, and then you get a 10-year deal at the back end. It's not perfect, but this isn't going to cost him any money. He could get 2 bites out of it. And the best point of all is, I think, the one that you made, which is somebody's going to do it. And if you want him, you're going to have to do it too.
And it matters who does it, right? Because if it's a team that he's just not interested in playing for and he doesn't feel like he's going to win even if he goes there, then maybe he's not that interested. But if all you need is one of these teams that he's interested in showing him their commitment, and he's going to look at that team differently than he looks at some of the other guys. The only thing that I could see happening potentially, and you tell me this, and maybe this falls into, I don't even think it really falls into that scenario you played with a 10-year deal, but then there's an option after 3 years, whatever the case is. Does it at all just minimize the years? Is there
only to his benefit?
Will there be a universal, we can't offer him a 10-year deal?
Somebody will. I think what you said is somebody will, right? And he will take the 10-year deal, and somebody will offer long-term with a player option because that's how they get him. So if that's on the table, somebody else is going to do it too, and that's the new.
So they could have him for a few years, and then he could decide after those 3 years, it ain't working here. I could go make more money.
Or it's working so well, I want more money. I'm not saying I'm going to go somewhere else, but I'm making 50, okay, number, and I actually came back and I won the Cy Young, and I'm the MVP. You know what? I'm thinking 75. Somebody's going to do it, and that's why this is in a weird way oddly beneficial for him.
What a wrinkle.
Weird as it sounds, because maybe you go a little shorter at the beginning, like, hey, listen, I know that I'm only going to be a DH for a season and a half, potentially. I'm going to do it at 50 or 48, but here's the deal. To do that with you, I need the long-term security of a 10-year deal, but I also need an out 3 years into it, so if I do smash it, I get my full value. But if I don't, you got a DH at $48 million a year.
And it might be
it's a pretty good bet.
That could be the difference of Seattle saying, this is how we got him.
This is how the Angels get him back. They're the team that says, yes, we'll do that. That's why I think everybody's going to have to do it.
Can't go back to the Angels.
I don't think so either, but
what
if they're the only ones that offer that? What if they're the only ones that, look, we'll give you an opt-out after 2 years?
Isn't he going to be just miserable?
Maybe. Or, look, I've been here before. I can do it another couple of years. I'm going to do my rehab. There's always going to be the hitter market available for me, but I'm locked in at this price. Even if he doesn't come back, and look, I'm a free agent again. I can walk away again.
If you just had to predict, doesn't he know he's wasting his time by going back to them?
It's different now. Yes, 100% yes, but there's a variable in the air that wasn't there yesterday. It's
because now the Angels are bringing him in without being a pitcher to help them win on every fifth day.
But what if they're the only team that offers an option? You know what I mean? There are scenarios where I can give you something that's just inherently stupid, but it's in my best interest to do it. I'm going to do it. There's also the baseball part of this that could be a disaster, and they're going to do it anyway. That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN. Back for all your ticket needs. Not only is Vivid Tickets the official ticket partner of ESPN, they have a 100% buyer guarantee, and they're the only ticket company that rewards you for buying. This football season, catch every pass, every tackle, and every heart-pounding play live and in person. To get great deals on great seats, download their app or visit vividseats.com today. Vivid Seats, experience it live.
The most ESPN.
So on TikTok this morning, I when I was debating whether or not I was gonna be able to go on and get out of bed, I came across this video,
and it's funny,
and it's pretty funny. So we'll play it for you.
How Latinos pronounce NFL teams Part 3.
Luis, ¿cómo se llama el equipo de fútbol? Ese es Pittsburgh Steelers.
So what team is that?
That's the Steelers.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Pittsburgh Steelers. So in the spirit of the NFL coming back, we wanted to play it for you.
I like that.
That's pretty good.
We'll hit you guys with another one next week.
All right.
Later
I
or
like
tomorrow.
that.
Play it one more time. Play it one more time.
Hold on, I got to cue it up.
All right. I like that.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
By the way, that's everything. I mean,
Luis, ¿cómo se llama el equipo de fútbol?
Ese es Pittsburgh Steelers.
I like the S Steelers part.
Yeah,
that's everything. If you're not American or your first language is not English, I mean, I still laugh listening to aunts, uncles, stuff like that. I'm like, what did you just say? And they're speaking in English. I'm like, all right, no, I get it.
Yeah,
I
los
get it.
Doyers. Doyers, yeah, sure. With a
Doyers.
Y. They put a Y in it.
Yeah.
You know what we
Not
do.
the same story.
I'm excited. I kind of want to.
We're trying to get you in the spirit of the NFL coming back. That's what we're trying to do.
It's pretty good. It's
And
pretty
the
good.
TikTok will have the interpretation of what this person said
And the
too.
spelling.
Yeah.
Who was it? The schedule release, was it the Titans that they had all these people guess the
Yeah,
logo
yeah.
and what it is? That same idea, right?
They're like the San Francisco
The San Francisco Cowboys of Atlanta.
Yes,
Yeah, pretty good. All right, very quickly, after your night out, my go-to the next morning after a long night is a very quick run to McDonald's for breakfast, because the sausage McMuffin, hash browns, and a Coke is at least my first attempt to mitigate the damage I've done. Did you have one of those today, Em?
I was not keen on eating any food.
Oh, it's that bad.
Yeah. So I had some water. I had some lots of water.
But you
with
got to
some
have
liquid
something.
IV.
Get even some bread,
I
anything.
had-
It's
I
got to
had-
soak it in a
I had
little
a kind
bit.
bar, so that's about it.
Okay, so you're right, Al, but you've also had that one like, I can't. I know I should, but I just can't. The idea of putting anything
I
in
don't
my
want to
stomach.
see it again in a couple minutes.
Here's the problem. The problem is, or you have that feeling where you eat something and it's greasy and it feels good for about like 4 minutes,
Tops.
and then I'm like, yeah, I don't feel good now.
Good 4 minutes.
Then you do it again after
and
another
you
couple
think,
of
you know
hours.
what? Okay, so the McDoubles and large fries and a Coke didn't work. What if I ate a quesadilla? Like and a
then
quesadilla
a
the size of
bagel.
a hubcap, you know, that you
And
just
then a
really-
bagel.
and
Yep.
then a bagel, and then the next
Oh,
thing you know,
no.
you've had 12,000 calories that day, and it didn't help at all.
Game is delayed now. The Dodger game.
Okay, they just got to end that
Again.
game. It's done.
Mookie's got 5 hits.
That's
Mookie's
what
5 for
she
5 in
said.
this game. Crazy. Dodgers got a big lead in game 1. Dave Roberts looks like he wants to fight somebody because they're getting ready to cancel another game. All right, so let's.
Well,
talk-
that's it now. If they're in the 8th, so it'd be ball game, right?
Yeah, but the other thing is they're supposed to play the
another.
next game
Yeah.
a half hour after the end of this game. Otani. Here's where it gets. I don't know if weird's the right word, Slee, but here's where it gets complicated. There could be a deal that's a bad baseball deal, a really bad baseball deal that teams are going to do anyway because of the value that he brings that has nothing to do with how many home runs he hits or how many guys he strikes out. That his economic impact on your bottom line is real. There's a lot of speculation that one of the reasons the Angels were so resistant to trading him is just simply the revenue from Japanese-related businesses that come in because he's on your team. That even if we can only squeeze that for another 40
Couple
or
of months.
50 games,
Yeah.
a couple of months, it's worth it to our bottom line. So, again, round numbers. I will pay you $60 million a year to just be my DH. While that's a terrible way to run a baseball team, it's a good way to run a business. That's not what the Dodgers have done. The Dodgers have been really disciplined in how they go about spending their money while still running a wildly successful business. But Otani could put it in a space where our team is weird because we have so much payroll tied up in one guy who does one thing, but our bottom line of our finance, our balance sheet, we're just killing it. That's a whole nother issue.
This is the only reason. No, you're right. We've given the example, and I think sometimes, and I don't know Andrew Friedman's history when it comes to did he grow up with money, did he not grow up with money? I don't know that. But the reason why I'm using that as an example is there are certain people that didn't grow up with money and then found themselves with a lot of money as they got older, but they still act like they don't have money.
Right.
And we've used the example of Nordstrom Rack. It's a joke, but it's like
It's a good example.
I know those jeans are $80, but I could get them for $40 at Nordstrom Rack. I'm just going to go pile through where all the sizes are jacked up, where nothing's folded.
Mine are always on the bottom.
There's a lot of them.
Anything that starts with a 3 is on the top. The 4s and above, they're at the bottom of the stack.
But that's the example of, I saved $40.
Yeah.
It's like, no, but you have the money. I know, but I saved $40 million. And the reason why I give that example is because I think with Andrew Friedman, here's the question that you're going to ask, and this is why I don't think this is going to have as much effect on the Dodgers. If this was the NBA and there actually is like a hard cap that they do the best that they can in today's NBA to make sure that the Los Angeles Lakers can't spend X amount and the Thunder can only spend this amount. For the Dodgers in their situation, I'm not saying that they're in taxes and everything else. That number really doesn't mean anything. I'm not telling you it doesn't. What I'm telling you is that
it means less, I think. I don't know if it means nothing.
They're going to make it up.
Yeah, for sure.
There is no. I find it very difficult for them to outpay for Shohei Otani and then go back and say, guys, you know what? We really just got to have beans and bread the rest of the week.
That's different, though. I think that they don't have to, but they might. We saw them reset their payroll tax this year just so they could do this. So they obviously.
But do you think this was for the situation coming up?
Could be. It definitely could be. But most fans, I believe, are not. Look, I'm not. I'm putting myself into this category. Are not sophisticated enough to go, well, they actually could spend whatever they want. That if they say, listen, we got Mookie's making 35 and Freddie's making 35 and Shohei's making 60 and Kershaw is making 20 and, Will Smith they're going to have to pay and Walker Buehler, they're like, at some point we can't afford all of these things because we're so heavily invested here. It's something I think, I kind of get it. Or now instead that $60 million we're paying Otani every year is actually $120 because we're paying dollar for dollar in tax. So our payroll on the books might look like $300 million, when in actuality it's closer to $600 million. They can sell it. Whether or not it's actually true and they're still making money is different, but it's a very saleable thing. If Shohei Otani were named Steve Olson and grew up in Chicago, this is a bad deal. You run in the opposite direction of Otani right now. I don't know what it's going to be. He's two things. I don't know if he's two things anymore. I don't know how to price that. I don't know if he's coming back. I don't know if he's not. I don't know how
it's
long
actually an easy decision.
I don't know what this is going to be. I can't. Steve Olson, I know you're the first two-way guy ever from Chicago, but I just can't. Shohei Otani from Japan, who brings all of Japan and the money that comes along with it and the baseball
and the international intrigue and the intrigue of people that don't even know baseball.
Like, come on, man. Come on in. Come in. Yeah. Sit down. What do you need?
I
still think they're going to, even if it's a bad baseball deal, I think it's a deal that they're going to do. I have a really hard time believing that he doesn't come to L.A. because the Dodgers decided that's too much money. They might go somewhere else for other reasons, but I don't think it's going to be a reason where the Dodgers just said, we can't go any further than that.
Under today's scenario, you said yesterday was a different predicament.
For sure.
Under today's scope, what would be, do you have a number in years in mind that you think would be a bad deal?
A bad baseball deal?
Bad baseball deal.
Sure.
Only baseball.
Sure. They're first of all, never give a pitcher a long-term deal. Never. That's just bad business, full stop. The Verlanders and Scherzers of the world, they're the outliers. They don't happen. What's happening to Otani is what happens. What happened to Buehler, it's what happens. Kershaw is the outlier, right, where he's been mostly healthy his entire career.
Come on, Crenshaw.
Knocking it on wood, right? So long-term deals for pitchers is a bad deal. Shohei Otani is still at the peak of his powers offensively, but at some point it's going to dip. Think Albert Pujols. Look at Mike Trout right now. So there are numbers, terms that it becomes a bad baseball deal. What that number is, I don't know, probably anything that's double-digit years. Probably anything that's north of $50 million a year for double-digit years is a bad baseball deal. It's not a bad business deal. It's a grand slam business deal. And look, these are businesses. They want to win. They're trying to win, but they also try to make a lot of money.
It's not, and this is really truly is not the right example, but remember when the Lakers gave Kobe his final 2 years? It was, I think, 2 years, $48 million. And by the way, looks like absolutely nothing today.
Right.
You're basically, that's
at the
Rui.
time it was a ton.
That's Rui. Okay,
Yeah.
like
Crazy.
I'm joking here, but when they gave him the 248, it had nothing to do with the basketball part. It had all to do with Well, he gave us 18 years. Oh, by the way, he's going to help us sell every
Golden
ticket
parachute.
in here. Oh, by the way, everywhere we go, the nationally televised games, everything else, that's what it was. Difference with Shohei, the man is in his absolute prime, and can help you win all these games.
And another difference, though, is for what you're describing with Kobe, maybe the Angels could make a similar, that we've been here, the Dodgers don't have any, feelings in the game. They don't have any memories in the game. This is the Angels buying Pujols, that I get what you've done, but I need to know what you're going to do.
Sure.
And that's where the Angels were so stupid with the Pujols thing. It's like he had already started to tip, that the Cardinals are like, we ain't doing that. Should have said all you needed to know. But it's the only way they were going to get a guy like that. It was a bad deal at the time. That's not Otani, but don't get sentimental about what he did over there. It didn't do anything for you. What am I buying now? What you're buying is the business. And then if the player hits, even better. If one of the player hits, you're probably okay. If both of those things hit, you're right back to your dream scenario.
Yeah.
But it's different today than it was yesterday. It's just wildly different than it was yesterday. I don't think the offers are going to be different, but the return is a lot different. Factor Cap coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. If you get hurt in an accident, call Sweet James, right? Not to be abrupt about it, but it is as simple as that. If you are hurt in a car accident, a truck accident, a motorcycle accident, a dog bite, call the accident attorneys at Sweet James, 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-9-MILLION. Slowly, 1-800-900-0000. You know the number by now. It's the call I've made after both my son and daughter have been involved in accidents. It's the call I've recommended my friends have made after they've been involved in accidents. They've worked with Sweet James. If you're looking for the settlement, if you're looking to get your car fixed, if you're looking to make sure that your medical care gets covered, this is why you call Sweet James. He's collected over $1 billion in settlements in his near
and Sliwa. Travis and Sliwa.
But do you think it's the right move? Do you think it's the right strategy?
No. Live from LA Live on 710 ESPN.
It is Travis and Sliwa. We're here each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., and it's time for Factor Cap.
That's cap. That's so cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go back.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
No, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys, I do feel a DoorDash order in my future today for lunch. Likely.
What are we getting?
I'd probably, honestly, I am craving that wrap from California Chicken Cafe I get all the time.
Okay.
So sometimes when I'm hungover, I do go the healthy route. Maybe just try to trick myself that I'm, feeling better, but that's probably what I'm going to do.
Grab Greg's credit card. Let's all order. Let's eat.
Salt and grease. That's and sugar. Right, that's why the Coke is mandatory. I need the sugar from the Coke, I need the grease and the salt from the fries, and then whatever else you want to throw in there, great.
Height of luxury, or when I'm hungover, I usually go with like 4 different liquids. I have water. I have probably a different hydration, so like a Gatorade or a different water with liquid IV in it, and then I have a coffee, and then I might have like an orange juice or a Coke. So that's kind of usually my.
I'm with you. It's
it's
a solid plan.
I need Denny's pancakes.
Great choice.
Oh, yeah.
Soak it up.
That's it.
Doesn't work, but it's.
I just need a Michelob Ultra. Give me an Ultra, I'm good.
Oh, you go to bed. Stop lying.
All right.
When I get home.
So, speaking of Denny's pancakes, today is National Waffle Day. So my statement is waffles are better than pancakes. Travis, Factor Cap.
Fact. Pancakes are good, waffles are better because a waffle has a little texture to it. It's a little crunchy, it's a little crispy, which adds a nice little texture component to your food.
Pockets for the syrup.
And you got pockets for the syrup and the melted butter or anything else that you want to put in there. You've got the syrup, you've got the butter, you've got, if you're a
throw some
chocolate
fruit
chip
on there.
guy,
Throw whatever you want on there. Bananas, whatever you want on there.
It collects in that pocket, and it's just it's lovely.
Al?
It's kind of the best description I've ever heard of a waffle. I don't really know what to do with that. I'm with you. Listen, I'm a fan of pancakes as well. I got no problem. I want the pancake industry to know this is not personal at all, okay?
Big Bisquick is looking at you, sweet.
But a waffle is better than a pancake. I'm with you on that.
So when I worked at Denny's, I used to tell the cook to make me a waffle. I would take a scoop of chocolate ice cream, put on the top, and as that thing is melting,
sounds good.
That warm waffle,
I got no problem.
Dude, it soaks up so good, bro.
Does that sound bad at all? I've never had that before. Not
Waffle,
against
right
that.
So it's just a waffle cone, only it's not the cone.
Exactly.
It's just the
yeah, and then the ice cream is melting and it's on the pockets.
Well, sure.
Well, by the way, there's another way you can have it, is your waffle cone, like
Waffle
you're talking
cone's
about, when you go
wonderful.
get an ice cream. For those who like it, I don't do it all the time, but chicken and waffles, there's another way of using a waffle.
Great.
You don't really have that with pancakes.
Never heard of chicken and pancakes?
Well, don't knock it till you try it.
I'm not saying I wouldn't give it a
Maybe
twirl.
we wrap the chicken.
Instead
like
of pigs in a blanket, it's chicken in a blanket.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Or like have it
Our
like
idea.
a taco, where you have the crispy chicken. And
This
then
is, by the way, why
taco
we're
is
not
pancakes.
successful, because we come up with an idea and we do nothing with it.
Somebody right now is on the patent office on the phone saying, chicken in a blanket. Mine.
This and Commander and Chimp.
Commander and Chip. And Slee had a good one yesterday. What was the one you had yesterday? We don't even remember.
No, I remember it. It's just the title.
Drivers need companionship too, or something like
Something
that.
like
Truckers
that.
need... Truckers
need something.
I got it.
He already got it.
I'll send you the link to that other one about the truckers that you can maybe not
Okay,
use.
so don't hate me, but are waffles better than pancakes? Yes. Do I order waffles more than I order pancakes? No. So I don't know why this is an equation in my mind, but I just almost always get a pancake if I have the option of waffle and pancake. I think I get a little intimidated by the size of most waffles. They are pretty big.
They are.
And so I tend to I'd rather have a small stack of pancakes than one large waffle.
Wrong.
I know I'm wrong. I'm wrong. It's just in my head is that way.
I get it.
All right. So
There it goes. Oh. Quick. You're out. Oh, dude, you're out.
And you're eating them like it's like the greatest thing ever.
It's great.
Chocolate chip waffles. Oh.
Yes.
Blueberry waffles.
Blueberry? Yes.
Jeez.
Have you ever had M&M pancakes though?
I've not.
Chocolate chip pancakes.
Yeah.
I've had chocolate chip, but I've never had that.
I'll do M&M pancakes. I like that.
They're very
Good
similar
combo.
to chocolate. It's just that they're colorful.
Sure. And they got the little candy shell. Let's not sleep on that.
All right. So I came across a TikTok as well yesterday, not this morning, but a man So a man lives in New York, and he was trying to figure out when to leave for his flight. He realized he didn't know how to tell military time, and he had 1 hour before his flight leaves New York. So he's in his apartment still, has 1 hour to get to their airport. And so I know none of us live in New York, but it is a hassle to get to the airport if you live in New York. So he's like, well, I have to charter a helicopter in order to get there on time. And so he chartered a helicopter, got there in time, got on the flight. The helicopter cost more than the flight. Of
course.
And this is an international flight as well. So imagine how expensive that helicopter ride was. So, but it was cheaper than rescheduling or getting a new flight. So you always arrive way early to the airport. So this situation would never happen to you. Alan, Dr. Cap.
Cap. I'm not late, but I'm also not 3 hours before my flight leaves. I'm right around the $1.50. Hour and a half seems like...
And is that before boarding or before the flight leaves the airport?
Before the flight leaves the airport.
Okay.
So hour and a half, I'm getting dropped off at Delta. And now I have an hour and a half to get through security, do my thing. It's not uncomfortable, but you're also like, let's get this done.
So like essentially 50 minutes before you can board.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm kind of on time. I'm not showing up that early where, I mean, sometimes it's nice. You show up super early, go get a glass of wine, go get a drink, whatever it is. But I'm pretty much, I'm going to make it there to where I can just get to my flight.
Starting, that's when you show up. All right. Group B, all right, that's me.
I'm group 4. I don't even get the letters. I'm like group 4.
Yeah, you're after they've seated all the C's. You're
go ahead, guys.
I
already know your answer.
Super early.
Yeah,
to the
I can see.
I want to be through security at an hour and a half. That's kind of my goal because I don't want to miss it. I don't want the stress that comes along with thinking I might miss it.
Or surprises, or
I've missed one flight in my life, and I was to the airport 2 hours before the flight took off. But there was a million snafus in the line and everything else, and I just didn't get through the line in time, and I missed it, and it still creates anxiety for me. And I can't do it. I know it's ridiculous. I know it's way too much. It's one of the few things Susan and I regularly
fight
about is when we have a trip scheduled, and if that flight is at 5 o'clock at a John Wayne, we live 15 minutes from John Wayne Airport.
You leave at noon.
I'd like to leave at 2:30. By the time you park the car, by the time you get on the bus, by the time you do all these
traffic. Yes.
I don't know. Maybe we'll get a flat tire. Yep. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of all of this. And even if everything goes wrong, I'm still on that flight. That's what I'm prepared.
How stressed are you with connecting flights that only give you like
Here's the thing.
20 minutes.
It's even if they're giving you 50 minutes, you don't know if your flight is going to be delayed or anything.
You're right, but here's the deal. That's out of my control. I can't control that. So I'm much more I can control what time I get to the airport. So I do it wrong and get there way too
How about
early.
this? I was late. I missed my flight because they were training the TSA X-ray person. They were training that person. I was like, oh, man, there's like 5 people in front of me. And
okay, but also, how early did you get to the airport?
No, I got there like 1:30, like hour and a half before my flight.
Okay.
But the training and this person.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, learning the X-rays and and they were checking every bag. Everybody was getting checked.
That's the equivalent of closing 3 of the 4 lanes on the 5. I'm like, I'm going to be late.
On the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm going to be late.
Yeah, I like to be through security like an hour before I can board. So if I can board at 2:30, I'm through security at 1:30. So I have just, the space in case the line's long for some reason. Here at LAX, it's kind of easy to get through security because each different terminal has its own security.
Yeah.
But I flew out of Denver in the morning one time, and that line was 2 hours long.
Did you see Lucifer?
I did see Lucifer.
Okay, good.
And it was 2 hours long because a lot of flights got delayed in that morning because there was a storm. Anyway, I'm a stressful plane
traveler.
person.
And then that airport's weird. It looks like a tent.
It's a weird airport.
The Illuminati lives underneath it or something. There's a lot going on there.
All right, I have one more quick one for you guys. So this is National Burger Day today. So not necessarily from this establishment, but a smash-style burger is the best burger style. Jorge, fact or cap?
Fact. Anything with bacon and avocado in it. Bacon, avocado, cheeseburger, done. That's my go-to burger right there.
Trav?
Fact. because when you smash it, you get that
Little
crust
crisp,
on the meat,
little
right?
crisp
you get
there,
that
yes.
crispy
The
little the
juiciness.
meat in the middle is cooked to the temperature that you'd like, but you get the little bit of bite on the outside
You
of
can
the
actually
patty.
get your whole mouth around it too.
Yeah,
And
it's-
those patties are usually super thin.
Yeah.
You got 2 of them there. They're putting cheese on both of them.
Inside between the 2 patties, Slee?
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's the right answer.
Yeah, so we're all in agreement
Again,
now.
listen, this is if you ask a food question and he goes before me, there's nothing left.
Okay, low key, one of the best burger spots in LA. Outside of we have the In-N-Out, which is what a hamburger is all about. So that's one thing. But we have the Window, which is both in I think it's in Venice and it's in Silver Lake. It is so good.
That's a Dwight Howard spot, right?
Maybe.
I think so. That's
I
where
don't
he
know.
went.
It's so good. They have a very simple menu. They have burgers, they have fries, they have shakes, and dipped cones and lemonade
And waffles.
That's about it.
By the way, why not?
Might as
Why
well.
not?
And then they
sounds
also
good.
have a really good kale salad. So
Well, for maniacs it's used for profiling purposes.
Well,
Hey,
no, okay.
kale salad right there. Get him.
so a lot of times I would
Jorge
go to-
loves kale salads with
I
strawberries.
go to
Hell
spin
no.
Loves
class,
strawberries.
and I would get a burger and a kale salad, so I felt a little better about
A
myself.
kale salad is good. I've made them. I've ordered them, but not at a burger place. If I'm going to the Window, I'm not getting a kale salad.
But the Window has a fantastic burger. So if anybody's out there hungry today and love a burger, go there.
All right, so today is Kobe Day. It's 8:24, and a big announcement on the Kobe statue coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. You looking for that Silverado? Why wouldn't you be looking for that Silverado? I drive mine every single day, and if you're looking for that new Silverado, or really any Chevy car or truck, get yourself out to Rotolo Chevrolet. Right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit, right, and you're in the lot at Rotolo. And what you're going to find is a sea of Silverados. Every make and model that you can think of. The pricing is going to be great, but what you get at Rotolo is customer service that's second to none. They've been Dealer of the Year 13 years in a row. How about that? 13 years in a row of being the best. Number 1 in sales volume year after year after year. How do you do that? By giving people the right vehicle at the right price and treating them the way that they deserve to be treated. And that's what they do at Rotolo Chevrolet every single day. That's what Mike Capozio insists on. That's what the entire staff executes day in and day out. I know. I bought a car from Rotolo Chevrolet. I know how they do it, and it's unlike everything else. Courteous, transparent, upfront, efficient. You feel good about it. That's what you get at Rotolo Chevrolet every single time. ROTOLO, RotoloChevy.com online. You're going to get the same great.
Great question.
Travis and Sliwa
On 710 ESPN.
Kobe's second free throw, good. He has 60. The Lakers lead by 3. Here we go. Utah needs a 3 to tie it. Hayward driving down the middle all the way to the rim, lay it up, no good. Rebound grab. Kobe's got it. Length of the court pass to Clarkson. Clarkson at the rim. Slam dunk. Game in the refrigerator. And the Lakers are going to win on Kobe's last night. He's going to score 60. And I don't believe what I just saw.
All right, so that was John after Kobe's 60-point final game with the Lakers, and
Bananas.
it's amazing to hear it again.
It's bananas.
Yeah, I know we talked about it yesterday, but it's so cool. So Vanessa and the Lakers made this announcement today that Kobe will have a statue at Crypto.com Arena, and so let's hear from Vanessa.
Hi, everyone. As you know, Kobe played his entire 20-year NBA career as a Los Angeles Laker. Since arriving in the city and joining the Lakers organization, he felt at home here, playing in the City of Angels. On behalf of the Lakers, my daughters, and me, I'm so honored that right in the center of Los Angeles, in front of the place known as the house that Kobe built, we are going to unveil his statue so that his legacy can be celebrated forever. Hope to see you there.
So that's Vanessa Bryant making the announcement that on 2/8/24,
yep,
February 8th, 2024, that the Kobe Bryant statue will be unveiled. We know that his daughter Gigi will be a part of that statue as well. They're playing the Denver Nuggets that night. There's a game at Crypto.com. So we knew it was coming. We knew that that was going to be a part of it. We just didn't know when, and now we do. And can't wait. It'll be an incredible night.
The announcement on August 24th. The announcement at 8:24 a.m. this morning is when they put it up on social, Vanessa Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers. And if you think about what's outside of Crypto.com Arena right now, and think about Magic's no-look pass, Kareem's skyhook, Shaquille O'Neal taking down...
ripping the backboard
out, right? Chick Hearn there. And I'm just obviously talking about some of the Laker legends that are out there. Can you imagine what they're going to do for this one?
What is it? It's obviously very unique because it involves one of his kids, so it's going to be different than the other ones that are them and their, to your point, their signature move, right? The no-look pass, the skyhook, the two-handed jam, all the things that we think of. This is obviously different than that.
Yeah, it is.
And Kobe had the fadeaway, and he had the crossover, and he had some other things, but I'm excited to see what the actual sculpture itself is because there are so many different directions you could take it, and they'd all be fantastic.
Well, what this is going to be, too, and I don't think I'm being dramatic when I say this, but I think what this is going to be something that if you're not from Los Angeles, you're going to make a trip to Crypto to come take a picture in front of this thing. That this is such, I really do believe this. I think this is going to be one of those items in Los Angeles that you say, how am I going to be in L.A. for a couple of days? You're probably going to go out of your way to see what this thing's all about. I think it's going to be special. I'm with you. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but I just imagine, just think about it. Kobe Bryant, 20 years with the Los Angeles Lakers, the tragic passing of him and Gigi and everybody else in the helicopter crash. I think it's going to be something really, really special.
The Lakers and the people that run Crypto.com, the people that are in charge, AEG, it's just they've done such a good job with that, the statues, the unveiling, where they go, what they look like, that they're just because look, Jorge, help me out here. Who was the soccer player that had the statue that was
Cristiano
unveiled?
Ronaldo.
And it didn't look anything like him. It's like bad. It became a joke. Like that thing is so bad. Like what the heck is that?
And then I think Jimmy Kimmel also made a spoof with David Beckham.
With Beckham, on purpose. They pretended it was pretty funny actually. Really funny video.
You can get that wrong, right? As evidenced by Ronaldo's sculpture, that they have been basically just boom, 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 boom. That they're all right, for lack of a better word, that they're in the right place, in the right pose, with the right depiction of what they are. I'm sure this one will fall right in line with that.
Let me ask you something. We see those statues every time we go to a Laker game. We see the statues there. We're debating what the Kobe statue should look like. Are you guys in favor of what those statues out there? Is that what Magic resembled? I know me and Emily were just talking about this. Our favorite one is the Shaq one.
Yeah,
the dunk. That one's just impressive. The way it's do those
symbolize?
Exactly.
You're saying?
Do that symbolize the players that are out there.
I think as best as they can. I mean, listen, maybe if they did it today, it's going to look a little different. Might look a little better. If they did it in 10 years from now, look a little different, might look a little better. I'm okay with them. I don't know if I think probably one of the most iconic ones, and I've never seen it in person, but Jordan in front of
United, no?
The United, if it's still United. And I know it's iconic. It's Jordan.
It's Air Jordan.
You can't. There's nothing you have to do.
Right.
It's Jordan. But I don't know how that compares to some of the other ones. But I've never, I think, looked at these and said, "Well, that one looks awful" or something
Well,
along those lines.
Skyhook, so obviously that's like.
But that's
what I mean,
right? That there's only one Air Jordan logo, right? That it's become ubiquitous. That you just see that silhouette. It's Michael Jordan. But all of those statues are evocative of who they were. Like, you couldn't have a statue of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar that wasn't a skyhook.
Right.
You couldn't do that.
Like the Jackie Robinson, he's sliding.
Right.
Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
He's sliding.
Perfect, right? You couldn't have a picture of Magic Johnson, shooting a three-pointer. It's like, well, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You couldn't have Steph Curry grabbing a rebound. It has to be the right guy doing the
Shaq's
right
dunks,
thing. Shaq's, two hands, knees up, and it feels like he's going to rip the building down.
Shaquille freaking O'Neal.
It's got to be that iconic image that we remember that player from. Yeah.
So one thing with that, not a Kobe statue, the Michael Jordan statue is I used to watch a show called Shameless. It just takes place in Chicago. And one of the episodes, they fake, the plotline of the episode is that this guy gets drunk and he steals the ball from the Jordan statue somehow and then buries it, and there's this whole investigation around Chicago, who stole it, and it's kind of funny. So there's nothing like that. It's just so interesting how these statues like this could be so emblematic of a city. People go all the time. We see them over here taking pictures with all the statues. It's really cool.
I have a picture at the Chick Hearn one.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like I'm sitting next to him.
It's always been a really big deal when they do the unveiling. It always has been, right?
Yeah.
So I get it. If you go to a lot of games or you're a season ticket holder, you're not going every game. It's the same one, but there's always people. I actually see this all the time going to a Laker game. I'm walking across the street from here, and there's a line of people trying to take a picture next to the Magic one. It's probably the first time they've ever been to Crypto.com. So this is their opportunity. I'm going to take a photo. They might be international. They might be out of state.
Could be bringing your kids for the first time.
Yeah.
Where it's they see it. Hey, I want a picture of that. Or this will be on the list. This might be number one.
I agree.
On the list.
I think this one will be different.
For all the obvious reasons, right? For all the obvious reasons, because of his playing career, because of the way that he died tragically and suddenly, because it involved one of his children. There are so many layers to this that will put it right at the top of the list for sure. February 8th. Next year against the Denver Nuggets, that's when the statue
a hot ticket.
will be. I'll say, get your requests in now, right? If you're going online, start looking for it. If you want to be in the house to watch USC kick off their season this Saturday at the Coliseum, be sure to listen to me and Slee, Sedano, and Cap today for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets. It is Trojans Ticket Thursday today on 710 ESPN, and you can get your tickets now for the game on Saturday at usctrojans.com/tickets. It is our Thursday draft. Because it's Kobe Day, we are drafting our favorite Los Angeles athletes of all time. That's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
It's Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa. Travis and Sliwa.
But do you think it's the right move? Do you think it's the right strategy?
No. Live from LA Live on 710 ESPN.
It's a snake trap.
Do we know who's first or no?
Take a wild guess.
Okay,
Jorge?
guys, it's been weeks since I've been the first pick.
You know what
Okay.
happened? You know what happened?
Yeah.
Because she's hungover, she forgot to do the lie.
No.
And pick someone else.
Okay,
She
Jorge
reversed-
picked it. Jorge picked it. Okay, he picked up 2.
There was a cold
one
paper
fell on
in
the
there.
floor, and then he was like, "Oh, just take the one that's in your hand already."
The question
And
is,
then
why were
it's
there
9.
9 names in there,
Come
and
on.
5 of them said
9
Emily?
Emilys.
Hey. All right, well, okay, well, I'm not going to pick that. All right, whatever. And so, in honor of it being Mamba Day 8/24,
Yep.
And the legacy of Kobe Bryant here in Los Angeles, we're going to do the greatest LA athletes. Okay, so interpret that how you will. They could be born in LA, they could be fictional, they could be, spend a little bit of time here, spend a lot of time here, whatever you want to be. So, my first pick is going to be the reason why we're doing this draft. He had such a legacy here on and off the court. He is all over this city, and we're honoring him today. So my first pick in the draft is going to be Kobe Bryant. So, Alan, you're second.
Good.
All right,
Man.
Kobe off the board, and I didn't know what she was going to do with that one. I didn't know if she is going to be a Dodger. I didn't know where she was going to exactly go.
Kike
So
Hernandez.
Kobe off the board. My
Taylor
go-to is Raul Mondesi. That's what I always say every time we do something.
That's a good random Dodger.
That's
I like
a good.
that.
I always like
Number
holding
43.
that one. There you go.
El Canyon.
Okay,
Ernest Jones.
if Kobe is off the board, then I think this one makes it a little bit easier for me.
I know who you're taking.
Magic Johnson off the board as well as my top, my number 1 pick.
Don't
All right.
you dare, Jorge.
Jorge.
Oh, I'm going there. You had 2 hours to take it away from me. I'm going Fernando Valenzuela.
I love how
Well,
Jorge's
you get
always
2
willing to be
picks.
bribed.
You get 2
but
picks
neither
after
one
that.
of them get to be Fernando. It's
It's my guy. I had to.
I needed to be ahead of you. That's it.
Yeah.
I knew she wasn't going to take him. I knew Al wasn't going to take him.
Yep.
I needed to be ahead of you. That's the only thing
All right,
I needed.
I'll go with Juan Toscano Anderson. Juan Toscano Anderson.
All right. You took Fernando, and I don't blame you. That would have been, even if I had the number 1 overall pick, Fernando was coming off the board for me. A very close second, somebody who you guys have seen me fanboy out with here in studio. It's the position, it's the team, it's the era, it's the accomplishments, it's all those things.
Noah Syndergaard.
Oral Hershiser is my first pick.
There you go.
So I was going to take both of them, and now I only get one of them.
Oh, no, go cry about it.
I know.
Hey, on top of getting Oral with your pick, you also get to sit down with him once every couple of months.
It's
and
pretty cool. It's
talk
a pretty
shop
good deal.
with him.
Here's the thing, and I know I can already see the comments when we post this online. I know what the objection's going to be, and I don't give a damn.
Okay.
Shohei Otani is my next pick.
Okay.
He's Orange County.
Oh, no, he's Orange
Los
County.
Angeles,
It
Angels,
is
and Anaheim.
close enough.
Yeah, but he's Orange County.
Right? I am taking
up, man.
Shohei Otani.
He's Orange
as my
County.
number 2
Boo.
I'm with you.
All right, Jorge.
I'm going back-to-back Mexicans here. Julio Urias.
Oh,
Another
nice.
World Series champion. That's
Nice.
right, baby. Julio Urias, my guy.
Yeah, 2 pitchers, 2 Dodgers.
That's right.
All right, Julio off the board. This one actually is kind of, I don't know if he gets as much love in Los Angeles just because of all the reasons that we've talked about. And I'm going Los Angeles Laker again. He's one of my favorite players ever. Shaquille O'Neal was one of my favorite.
Great choice.
Shaq is one of my favorite eras of basketball. I go Shaquille O'Neal in my second pick. Put Magic and Shaq together.
Okay, so I'm going to pick one that I'm surprised has gotten back to me, Travis. I'm going to choose Dodger, who I have his
It's the
jersey.
guy I was going to take third. Go ahead. It's
who
fine.
I have his jersey. It's my only baseball jersey. He's one of the greatest.
Just say it.
He will be one of the greatest Dodgers of all time, even if he, chokes against the Nationals.
How dare you?
So we got Clayton Kershaw. as my
Chris
second
write that for you?
pick.
For real.
All right, so I have another one. Wow, it's back to me again.
Wow, that's crazy.
All right, so I'm going to go with, so I have some options here of who I want to take.
I think I'm going to end up all Lakers here.
I'm going to try to spread it out and do one from football. And I think that, wait, should I do this one? Yes, I'm going to do it. So he's going to have a statue at
OJ.
SoFi State. At SoFi
Hey, if
Stadium
you
at
type
some
in
point.
top LA athletes, he's on all of them. He's like top 15 in all of
played
them.
at the Coliseum.
Yeah.
I know he started his career in St. Louis, but he won the chip here in LA. He is an LA Ram. I'm going to do Aaron Donald as my third pick.
Okay.
And all these athletes I've seen play, which is the whole thing of like why I picked them.
I get that.
So there was a player that, yeah, I'm just going to make this personal to me. That's it. I'm just going to make it personal to me. There was a player I was going to pick if some of these other guys were out, and I was going to go football, but I'm not going to do it because I don't need to. I'll go personal to me, even though another Laker should be in front of me. I'm going to go Pau Gasol as my number 3 pick on my list, and that kind of takes care of my eras and my favorite players if Kobe's not on there.
Laker. All right, Jorge?
I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here. I know they're going to give me a bunch of crap for this. But they shouldn't, because he's one of the greatest players of all time. One. He's done it here in LA for us. I'm going with LeBron James. You can't leave LeBron James off the
You know where I thought you might go?
Where?
Oscar De La Hoya.
No.
No?
No. I'm
Okay.
going LeBron. He
Okay.
broke the record, NBA record. You know,
He's brought a championship to LA.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't have to justify it.
No, you got to pick LeBron. LeBron's got to be in that.
I just can't believe you did it. No, I'm just kidding.
But I'm going with LeBron. Plus, he's staring at me and smiling.
Also, Al, I thought you were going to do something more obscure, a more obscure Laker, but
I'll give you the
Anthony
name.
Peeler.
I'll give you the name that I was going to go with.
Eddie
We'll
Jones.
finish. No, wasn't basketball. Wasn't basketball.
all right, Trav.
All right, so
Now
this
you
is
have someone from Anaheim.
well. If we're gonna do this, we could get very specific. This person grew up not in Los Angeles, so you can argue with me all you want, but spent his college career here. He's one of the most famous athletes in the history of this country.
I'm so glad
grew up
you're
in
taking
Pasadena. Jackie Robinson. So that's my. Does Pasadena count? Does that matter? But
that one doesn't matter,
Yes,
right?
that counts.
That's okay.
So Jackie
Okay.
Robinson
All right,
is my
so
third
3
choice.
Dodgers.
Here is my.
No, I had Otani. Well, maybe in a year from now it might be 3 Dodgers, but I have Otani.
Right,
We
yes.
put an asterisk right there. Right there on
Yeah,
Shohei.
will be eventually.
Okay, so here's my question. Are you surprised? Because I'm surprised. Kareem wasn't taken by any of us?
No. Kareem's not super soft and cuddly. He's not super likable. Kareem was difficult to deal with for a very, very long time. You guys are. I only caught the very tail end of Kareem's career.
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit before our time. And Kareem is not. Magic Johnson is loved. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is respected.
I also almost put, again, he's in the news this week, Reggie Bush, because, again, I
That's
watched
the guy
him
I was
play.
talking about. Yes.
You know, USC, if I was going to pick anybody from USC, I was going to do Reggie Bush because I watched him play. He was electric when it happened. He brought so much, attention to that team. Obviously, that team is loaded. But
This is what Reggie Bush did. And Reggie was on my list, potentially, depending on what happened.
and
What
his peak of his career was at USC.
What Reggie did was
Paging
you could be somebody who's going to school at San Diego State, has zero ties with USC, and are asking all your buddies, where are we watching Reggie Bush tonight?
Yeah.
Where are we going? Are we going to this? We going to that? I'm with
I've
you on that
also
one.
met him one time. I met him when I was working at NFL Films at NFL Game Day, and he kind of juked me out because we were passing, and I guess I was in his way for a second. He was like, oh, and I was like, that's so cool.
He's not
She gets down in
big
his stance.
like you think. Right? You meet some of these guys, you're like, oh my gosh, that's guys from another. You see Shohei or you see Magic John's it doesn't make any. You watch a guy like Reggie Bush who is a regular sized person.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it's like, whoa, that dude was able to do
DeAndre
that.
and I ran into him at the NASCAR event at the Coliseum. Yeah, like you said, he's just a normal looking guy.
Yeah, it's not. There's nothing extraordinary about him other than how fast and shifty he was and everything else. But he's not 7 feet tall. He's not Shohei, 6'5".
Yeah.
And did you see him get a leg double last night after he knew his arm was blown up? Just get a little leg double. He and Dela Cruz.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah,
man?
he touched it to make sure he's real.
Yeah.
By the way, I forgot when you were saying that, this guy, he's not real, this and that. De La Cruz literally was like, let me feel.
Couldn't Otani do the same thing to De La Cruz?
Yeah,
I
he
get
can.
that De La Cruz doesn't pitch, but I was watching the game last night with my son Michael, and when they're you could tell they were having a moment. And I don't know if De La Cruz speaks English or not. I don't know if Otani speaks English or not. I don't know if De La Cruz speaks Japanese or whether Otani speaks Spanish. I don't know. I don't know how they're communicating, but they were. And you could tell that
Body language, the smiles.
And
Yeah,
they were
I'm
both
with you.
into it. It's like, are you from the same planet I'm from? Are you like a Martian just like me? Because we're We're not like the rest of these guys.
It's not normal.
Yeah, we're in this a totally different.
I
level.
also had again, if I was going to go off of someone I didn't see play at this level, was UCLA version of Bill Walton on that team. So I thought about maybe putting him because how dominant that team was.
Season tickets that year.
That goes back to what you were saying, Slee, about Kareem. Kareem was both a college and a pro star here.
Like if this is what's going to happen. You know how John sometimes walks in and says, "You guys are all idiots."
I can't believe you didn't pick LeBron. Why?
No,
I chose LeBron.
He's going to say the Kareem thing for him. It's going to be, "You're all idiots," and then it will be like 12:56, and we haven't even started Super Crosstalk, and we'll go from there.
It's personal, right? It's the one that means the most to you. That's why you hijacking Fernando, and I get it. I get it.
Okay, here's a real question,
Fernando.
We're going to put this up, and the poll's going to be there. Who do you think people will vote for based on everybody's list? And by the way, you can make a case for all three of them. Jorge's?
Yeah. Emily, it's going to go Jorge, Emily,
I think Julio
you,
hurts
me.
that list.
I don't know. I don't think so.
He's loved.
You're the guy who don't want him in the MLB shop with the jerseys. You're that guy who doesn't want him on the list. Okay.
No. This is all
Come at
time.
him, at Alan Sliwa.
This is all-time LA athletes. I think Julio, when you look at some of these names, I think it's safe to say. I mean, I didn't think Julio was going to be in the top 12.
Here's why it might be Emily, because she has Kobe.
Yeah.
That she has Kobe.
And it's today.
And Kershaw.
Aaron Donald is the weak link, and not that he's not a great player, but I don't know if he
Less
resonates
popular.
But
quite
he's
like that.
he's the greatest in his position.
You're right.
Yeah.
He is, but does he? He's not going to resonate as much as some of these other
And
guys.
he didn't play his entire career in Los Angeles. He played for the Rams the entire time, but in St. Louis. I recognize that it is the weak link, but so is Anaheim.
No,
I'm with you. I'm with you. We know.
Think about how much time we've spent talking about baseball this year. What are the two things we've talked about? The Dodgers and Otani. Right? It's the Dodgers
Wait, where
and
did
Otani.
the Angels play?
The Los Angeles Angels?
Angels
man?
of Anaheim.
The Los Angeles Angels?
Oh, yeah.
Somebody call them that.
What city is that a park in?
By the way,
I'm 100% good.
Do Anaheim residents, do they hate the name?
I don't think anybody calls them that. That's
I was
why
going to say,
They call them the Angels. That's it. That's all they call them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're going
on
to the Angels
all
game.
of their stuff, it's Angels. On their uniforms when they go on the road, Angels. It doesn't say Anaheim. It doesn't say Los Angeles.
That's what I like about those uniforms. I like that uniform. I don't have this jersey, but the one that says Los Angeles on it for the Dodgers. Oh, I love those
It's
road
great.
jerseys. Yes.
They have two roads. They have the Dodgers, the
Uh-huh.
gray that says Dodgers, and the gray that says Los Angeles. And then they got the Los Dodgers at home, which I have the sweatshirt.
I know.
So
How dare you? We're done.
I had
We've
some
had a nice
input.
run together, but it's
personal now.
I had some input from Andy Kamenetsky, who is listening. So he says, after his recent dominating local run in pickleball, softball, and pop-up shot, how does nobody draft Alan Sliwa?
That's
right.
true.
That's right.
You could have gotten all those things.
I take Slee with my number
You
one
should
pick.
have. You should. Well, that would have left Magic for Jorge, and that means I would have gotten Fernando.
Well, guess who picked
Thank you,
the
AK.
list today? I chose the papers, and I was
But
making
Travis
sure
said
you
to
were
me
last.
because you knew I was going to do it, didn't you?
I knew you were going Fernando first. You know, all those docs,
Bad
all those
guy.
hours spent watching those documentaries.
I'm going to go home and delete it just out of spite.
Well, Jorge is now known for taking Taylor Swift,
Taylor Swift, baby.
and taking Fernando. Who's he going to take
Well,
from
let me
me
know.
on one of these
He's
lists?
going to
I'm
take
next.
Magic from you one
I'm
of
next.
these days. All right, speaking of Julio, does the Otani news change the way they think about their roster moving forward? Not just Julio, but JD Martinez as well. It's coming up. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Football's back, and I'm here to remind you that Vivid Seats has your back for all your ticket needs. Not only is Vivid Seats the official ticketing partner of ESPN, they have a 100% buyer guarantee, and they're the only ticket company that rewards you for buying. This football season, catch every pass, every tackle, and every heart-pounding play live and in person. To get great deals on great seats, download their app or visit vividseats.com today. Vivid Seats, experience it live. It is the Waba Grill Lunch Hour on 710 ESPN. Thanks to our friends at Waba Grill. You got to try Waba Grill's new Asian-inspired Boom Boom Taco Trios with your choice of chicken, ribeye, steak, or shrimp. Visit your local Waba Grill location or order online for pickup or delivery at wabagrill.com. Waba Grill, eat smart, be healthy. It's the night before my debut as the voice of the Dana Hills football program.
Nervous?
Public address. A little. I mean, not nervous.
Can I tell you what's funny? And I don't blame you for being nervous. But the amount of different, very nerve-wracking scenarios you could have been in with a mic in front of you. And the Dana Hills one is I need to warm up a little bit.
You're right. Yeah. I've never done this before. I don't know what I'm doing. Right. I could get it really, really wrong.
You want to give them the background here.
Somebody could give me the wrong roster.
The roster.
And I could end up misidentifying every single player on every single play. That would be embarrassing.
Have you gotten did you get the roster?
I did.
Okay.
There was 2 kids, number 59, and there was another kid that was listed twice.
The roster.
So, we'll see.
Oh, man.
Does Football Reference have the...
I'm excited. They're 1-0.
Can you ask anybody if they're going to switch jerseys?
Yeah, I need a hand signal from the coach or something that's going to be... I am so excited to do it.
So you are doing your first high school football game at Dana Hills.
Public address.
Home opener, too.
Home opener against Laguna Beach High School. Can't wait. I will be nervous. I got to introduce the cheerleaders. I got to talk about the snack bar. There's a lot of stuff going. There's a lot of moving parts.
Just wait till senior night.
Well, what's the what's the snack bar situation like? You got to give details of, hey guys, we got a sale right now on the Red Vines.
Friendly reminder, Dolphin fans, the snack bar located at the south end of the stadium is open. Hot dogs, hamburgers, cold drinks. Make sure that you support your Dana Hills football team. Snack bar open on the southern end of the stadium. Something like that.
There you go.
Let's go.
Right? So, I don't know. I've never done it. I'm going to read whatever they give me. I don't want to have to wing it because then I could mess up. And
what if they come to you tomorrow and say, our printer's not working?
Can't
email you anything.
Well, that has nothing to do with the printer.
Go! I'm saying can't email it to him so do it on his phone.
It's going to be good. And the best, there's 2 best. My buddy Greg Fisher, who's my spotter, he's as excited as I am.
Okay.
And
I was nervous as you are.
No, he's fine. My group of friends hates that I'm doing it. They think it's the dorkiest, lamest thing that I'm doing, which makes me like it more.
And then they'll be there. Trust me. They'll be there.
They judge me harshly because I'm doing this. Like, why? You don't even have a kid on the team. What are you doing?
Exactly.
That's why I want to do it.
This is your version of whimsy.
Thank you, Emily. I am rather lacking in that department, so this is good.
Come on, what kind of check they cutting you over there? Come on, what's the Dana Hills coming in with?
Said it perfectly. He goes, don't even take a hat. That way they can't fire us. Like if the second we take something, he goes, I don't want anything because then you can't fire me. We'll just leave.
Just after the game, you guys are under the bleachers, behind the bleachers, just buddy.
Yeah.
No, it's not even that. It's a hot dog from the concession and a soft drink.
If they give me a hot cup of coffee to start the game, I'll take it.
Let's go. 19. Dang, he had a different name.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but literally every kid you've announced has been wrong. And
Thanks, buddy.
Greg and I look at each other like, well, that's a heck of a start. Guess we won't call out names anymore.
Also,
can't wait.
Based off our draft from the last segment, there is someone that I had written down that I forgot to use, and I was like, oh, I should have used them.
Jeez.
Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, it's a great pick.
Has a statue here at Staples Center.
Yep.
You know, it would have been a great pick, but you know, I'm happy with my picks, but
it would have fit perfectly in there, but I don't know if you didn't win it just outright because you had Kobe. Kobe is that's the game right there.
Yeah, the Mamba tournament invitational is happening right behind us. Have you guys seen that?
I saw them building the court.
Really cool.
Yeah, I saw them building the court for that.
Yeah, I
yesterday.
said 40% corner, and they didn't know what I was talking about, and I kept walking.
We got to do that one of these days. We got to get a ball, maybe go over to LA Athletic Club, and I'll video you, and you get 10 shots, and I want to see if you can make 4.
How many warm-ups do I get?
As many as you want.
Can I shoot from anywhere at the perimeter?
You said the corner.
Okay. Yeah, I can do corner. God, that's the toughest one.
No, that's the closest one.
It's the closest one, but the easiest one is top of the key.
Did I ever tell you this story?
Top of 3.
So I said to Michael, I said, why is the corner one? He looks at me like I'm the dumbest guy in the world. He goes, because it's the closest. I'm like, oh, yeah, that does make a lot of sense. It's like it's about 2 feet closer than the one on the wing.
Let me give you an example. During 3-point shootouts, I feel like a lot of the times the guys, you know, you get the rack that's all the money balls or whatever it is. it's usually top of the key or it's one of the. I don't really regularly see it on one of the.
I don't know the answer to that, but I don't feel like that's right. I feel
like top of the key is the easiest.
I think the percentages tell you that it's the
wings?
corners. It's closer. Like Travis, it's closer. What do you? Of course, it's the easiest one.
The only, and it's just having the backboard.
I know
in front of
the
you.
depth perception is a little weird. All right, so Otani is hurt. Otani has a tear in his UCL, which means he's shut down for the rest of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Which means there's a really good chance he will be shut down as a pitcher all of next year as well. If he has to get TJ surgery, he's not pitching next year. If he has to get TJ surgery, he might even miss a chunk of the season as a designated hitter while it heals, right?
Wow.
Because, look, the season's almost over. He only got about 5 weeks left in the season. So if this is a 9 to 12-month injury, 12 months from now is towards the end of the season. We'll see what it is. It's a hitter. It's not a pitcher. It's a little bit different. Do the Dodgers look at Julio, who it feels like they're getting ready to go their separate ways anyway because of a variety of different reasons? They don't like to offer long-term deals to pitchers. There seems to be some weirdness in the air between the two parties.
It's been like that for a while, too.
It has.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I kind of see where Julio's coming from on that he was used in a way that no one else was.
Sure.
Jorge, you mentioned the jersey thing. It's not unreasonably go, you guys have not shown me the respect I deserve. I get it.
Can I just ask this? I'm going to interrupt for a second. The jersey thing, I've heard people say it before. Help me understand exactly.
When the Dodgers won the World Series,
you
know how they had those special jerseys with the golden trim on the numbers and stuff? I tried buying one off of MLB Shop. Everybody was listed. When you can pick your favorite player or whatever, everybody's listed but Julio. Julio was not on that list. And if you try to customize your jersey, you can't.
And they weren't selling them in the team store either.
And they're not selling them in the team store. Why?
I was just going to say, does somebody want to help me with this?
My assumption would be it was an oversight. It was a mistake. It was something that fell through the I don't, but fix it.
Yeah.
Right? Fix
I want my jersey.
Right.
That makes no sense.
You stack it up with all the other stuff, and it's like, all right, first of all, somebody's going to offer him money that the Dodgers would not be willing to. It's going to come down to economics. Somebody's going to say, we'll give you 7 years. The Dodgers aren't giving him 7 years. They don't do that with pitchers. It's not going to work out.
Unless your name's Shohei Otani.
Unless because he's not just the pitcher, right? Yeah. JD Martinez is on a 1-year deal. He's had an all-star season. He's one of the best designated hitters in the entire National League.
Sure.
If you get Otani, you don't need Martinez, but I don't know about Otani. I don't know if he's going to be here for the whole season, part of the season. Is he going to be a DH 150 times? Am I only going to get 35, 50 games out of him because he's healing from his injury? It really does change the way you go about constructing the rest of your roster, not knowing the timeline. What if Otani says he wants to rehab this thing?
The roster.
What if he says, hey, listen, I can get this back with therapy, with treatment, and then 6 months from now it blows out again. Now it's a whole nother year and change. There's a bunch of contingencies around this that will affect the rest of the roster, namely Julio and Martinez.
I'm going to go with my gut on Julio. My gut is going to tell me what we've been talking about for a long time, and I don't know if any of this changes. Now, maybe the Dodgers can come to Julio. Maybe the position for the Dodgers changes a little bit. Maybe they say, okay, let's prioritize Julio more now than we did 24 hours ago. That could happen. My question is Julio looking at the Dodgers any differently? Is Julio still, well, you guys want to come in, maybe it's a shorter-term deal, 4-year deal. Is that would that be your definition? 3 or 4 year deal be your definition of a shorter year?
4, I think, is as big as the Dodgers would want to go.
Okay. What do we got?
Breaking news. I just went to the MLB shop.
It works?
Julio Urias jersey is in there for $134.
All right,
did you order it?
There we go.
No, not yet. But I should.
Well, see, now you do all this complaining, and now it's available, and you don't even hit buy now?
No. I got to check if they have my size first. Come on, there's a process here.
This guy put it in the shopping cart. He's like, I'll figure it out later. I don't want to commit.
See, this is why you should be careful when you complain, because it's like, okay, it's fixed.
First off, that's healthy. That's an expensive.
Look at my smile now. I'm smiling. Look at me.
By the way, that's a really good jersey.
Yeah, it is a nice
It's
one.
with the gold trim. Do you see those at Dodger games every once in a while?
Yeah.
It's a good one. Sorry.
But no. So the only thing I'm saying there is, does it change anything for Julio? So even if the Dodgers decided, okay.
Do you think it might?
I don't think it does.
I don't see it. Yeah.
Right? If you were already let's say over the last couple years saying, why do I feel like I'm being treated differently than some of these other pitchers? Why do I feel like I'm being treated different than some of these other players? And on top of that, I'm going to potentially go get offers that include more years, more security, more money. I have a World Series with the Dodgers. No one can take that away from me.
That's a big part of it.
And it's not like Julio was not a member of the Dodgers during the World Series. Julio was a key player in that World Series for the Dodgers.
Level of importance as to why they won the World Series. Number 1, Kevin Cash went brain dead. Number 2, Corey Seager got a hit every single time he walked up to bat. Number 3, Julio. That's the order. Kevin Cash leaves Blake Snell in there. I don't know what we're talking about today.
With his relationship with the Dodgers, and let's say they're offering him 4 years, and give me a number per year.
He'll get close to 30, I bet.
Let's say it's 30. And 4 years, 120 right there. But there's another team offering him, and I don't even care if they're competitive or not. I won't say Angels, not Angels, but let's just say it's another team.
Say Angels.
Let's say it's another team. And Trav, let's say it's 5 years.
The other one, your guys.
Could be. Snell will be gone. Snell will go get his money wherever he's going to go.
A chance to stick it to the Dodgers.
Well, and also, too, just like L.A. has so many great fans who are Mexican, that is as great of a market for that as well. And
of course it is.
And there is something about that. But if I'm Julio, aren't I taking the money and the security?
Of course.
So I don't know how much it changes it for
you take the money and the security even if there weren't the weirdness in the air. Money and security plus weirdness.
And I already won a World Series?
Yeah. No, he's dipping. I think of all the guys we're talking about, he's the one guy I feel fairly certain is not going to be a Dodger next year. I don't know. You asked me yesterday about Otani. I felt really good about it. Now I feel less good about it.
You
Still
could
good,
sell yourself on.
But there are other options that are in play. You know, what happens with a guy like, Walker Buehler moving forward? I think they'll probably keep him depending on how he looks after the second TJ. There's some guys I think Kershaw will be back next year, even though he's on a 1-year deal. Julio, he's going to be wearing a different uniform, unfortunately, because he's been terrific, but I get why he's not feeling it.
You asked the question of if it changes anything for the Dodgers. I think we both agree it doesn't change anything for Julio. Do you think it changes anything for the Dodgers of how they view Julio?
Not how they're going to pay him. Maybe they view him differently, like, hey, we need another guy in our rotation. Because right now, next year, it's Buehler, assuming everything goes according to plan, Bobby Miller, and maybe Kershaw. Stone, Pepio, we'll see.
When's Dustin May?
Dustin May just got shut down. He won't be ready till towards the end of next season, if it goes exactly. They got real problems in that rotation. Emily asked a good question. How much is Otani worth if he's only a DH? And do you pay him like he's both? That's coming up. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Let's go.
Yesterday, and now we've got the second resumption. This is the top of the ninth inning from a game that started yesterday at 4 o'clock our time.
Yep.
We're almost down. Yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow. I was telling Jorge something during the break. Should I tell it right now? All right.
Please. Explain what's going on.
So this morning, at about 4:40 or so, that. Beep, beep, beep. And it's the smoke alarm, right? What's
always
go
the
off.
separation between?
It was
10 seconds.
It was like two. It was beep beep, then 10 seconds, beep beep, then 10 more. It's loud, and I'm thinking, oh God, of course,
very annoying.
So I elbow Susan, and I said to her,
"Get up!
What is that?" I know what it was. I'm hoping she'll go. I'll go take care of it. So she's like, oh. So last weekend, the smoke detector in my son's room started doing that. So we went and got a new smoke detector because it's one of those that you don't replace the battery. You need to replace the whole thing.
Goes in and
exactly that. So we replace it.
We're electricians, you and I.
We replace it, and so we're like, oh, and they all tend to kind of go out at the same time. Something. It's another one in the house, and we're listening, and Susan says to me, I think it's in the neighbor's house because our windows in our bedroom are open. Our house is very close to our neighbor's house.
Yeah.
You could definitely hear it in that situation, especially if they had their windows open. It was warm last night, everything else.
You leave your windows open?
It could be 30 degrees and my windows are open, 100%.
If it was a little quieter outside where we are, no question about it. Windows open.
I'm more worried about bugs and spiders.
Well, it's got screens.
Screen door, or you got the screen on the window.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Plus we eat bugs and spiders.
Yeah. It's circle of life, Jorge.
I leave the front door open.
So,
and Rookie there.
Yeah, well, Rookie will lick him to death, right? He'll jump in their lap and snuggle with him. So it's going, she goes, I think it's in the neighbor's house. And I'm thinking, okay, it's 4:45 in the morning. I'm not going to go knock on it. So I'm thinking, all right, get up. And Susan says to me, I think it's in the trash can, our trash can, the one that we threw away. Our trash literally gets picked up today, right? So we had it, or no, it's tomorrow. And beep, and it's like, it's in our damn trash can.
Oh my gosh.
So guess who's in the and by the way, not like the recycle bin, not the one that's got the lawn clippings, the trash can where all the rotten food and all the gross
the gray
stuff,
one that says trash only.
Black in my neighborhood, but yes, exactly right. In the trash can at 4:45 this morning, looking for. By the way, we threw it away last Saturday. It's at the bottom of the damn can.
Oh, dude.
And it starts chirping. We didn't smash it and break it up. 4:45. So that's
here's my favorite thing of the story is the fact that you thought it was the neighbors, and now you're angry at the neighbors.
We went to the bedroom. It wasn't inside our house, so it's like it's not in the house. It never occurred to us that it was outside.
It's in the trash can. And how many other neighbors were saying, "Where the hell is that noise coming from?" And it all comes down to you. And then here's a guy going through the trash at 4:45. You got some people probably saying, like, what is this guy? What is this guy doing? How did he get into this gated community?
It was so I was at work this morning at about 6:15 because I'm up. It's time to. I'm not going to go back to bed for 15 more minutes.
Who wasn't here then?
Yeah.
She was barely getting home.
I was just going to say, Emily just put her head down.
Yeah.
Why do those things never go off at noon?
No.
Why do they never go off at 4 o'clock in the afternoon?
No.
Right?
The way they
2
were,
a.m.
the way
4
they
a.m.
were created, they're 100% only from 2 a.m. to 4:30 a.m.
I can only hope that my neighbors didn't hear it. I'm sure that they did because it would have been impossible not to hear it.
Would you ask them?
I don't see them. The neighbor that I see is on the other side, so I think I'm good with him. But the one that I don't see as much, you know what?
It's a pretty good story.
If they do it, I got it. Like their dogs bark too much, so I'll just say that. It's payback for your dogs. They did it on purpose.
Fair.
I think that's a fair way to do it. It is a Trojan Ticket Thursday on 710 ESPN. Caller number 7 right now at 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-3776. Caller number 7 will win a 4-pack of tickets to this Saturday's USC game at the Coliseum. Kickoff is at 5 o'clock, and you can get your tickets now for the game at usctrojans.com/tickets. Caller number 7 wins a 4-pack of tickets, a family 4-pack. Caller number 7 right now, 877-710-ESPN. USC hosting San Jose State, 5 o'clock on Saturday night at the Coliseum. College football this weekend. It's hard to believe.
I watched
Week
the rest.
0.
I watched the rest of
Swamp Kings.
Swamp Kings
0.
First 2 episodes better than the last 2 episodes. By the time it was done, it was like, let's finish up here.
Too long.
No, it's a PR piece. That's really what it ended up being. I didn't want to, especially, actually, you know, my girl said something to me really randomly yesterday. She goes, I thought you said, now she's blaming it on me because she didn't really like it that much too. She's like, I thought you said this was going to be a little bit more about like, hey, things weren't going well.
Yeah.
It's a university that had a lot of issues. She mentioned Aaron Hernandez. I'm like, not right now, okay? There's still 7 minutes left.
Emily told you yesterday that there was no Aaron Hernandez or no.
I just didn't communicate that to her.
Dirty underbelly.
Part of my pitch to her in the beginning was like, this could get juicy.
Why not go say, listen, Emily watched the whole thing. She said, what I thought was in here isn't in here. Let's quit.
Because then she wouldn't watch it.
Well, why did you want to watch it if you knew that?
I was already I didn't mind the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
I just was invested enough to where I'm like, I'm going to finish this off.
You're just an Urban Meyer guy. You're pro Urban Meyer. I understand.
Any Urban Meyer jerseys?
I don't know. Go
Plenty of Tim Tebow jerseys, if that's what you're into. Those are certainly available to you. Did you buy it yet, Jorge?
It's in my cart. Yeah.
Well, that's not the same thing.
No, but I got a discount. No, I got to check the size. Make
Okay.
sure they got the my size.
All right.
The cart thing is the best.
He's not going to buy it.
It's pulling the trigger, right? Pulling the trigger sometimes. Like, I'll throw it in the cart.
All right,
A month later,
it's
still in the cart.
I told you about Susan yesterday. Like I said something like, there's a pair of shoes that I wanted. Like I said, you know what I'd like to get is specific pair of Vans that I wanted.
Yeah.
And the next thing, click.
It's gone.
What size? What? 12 and a half. Okay, they'll be here
Tomorrow
tomorrow.
at noon.
I'm like, that doesn't mean like just pull the trigger. I would like to. I'm more like Jorge. I want to think about it. I want to think if it's something I want, but do I want to buy it?
Yeah, there's
Put it in the
one
cart.
thing that throws me off. That number is not in the that red number is not in the front.
That's
of
what
this jersey.
makes a Dodger jersey
exactly.
a Dodger jersey.
Yeah, so I want that red number.
What
on there.
color is it?
It's just the white one with the Dodgers and the 7 in the back, and that's it. But it doesn't have the red
Jorge.
7 in the front.
Jorge.
Yeah, maybe you wait.
No, bro.
That's what-
maybe
yeah,
you
that's
wait.
what exactly, but you're trying to rush me to buy it now.
We didn't know that detail.
I'm going to
We
look
didn't
for
know.
it.
No, right?
Yeah, but you're going to drop
Okay,
money on the
are there-
jersey. It's
are
gotta be
there-
like
I'm
that.
buying a Yankee jersey without pinstripes.
Exactly.
It's like, what the hell are we doing
Trav,
here?
the stripes are this way.
Yeah, they're horizontal. Yeah. Horizontal, yeah. Talking about bootleg.
Yeah.
I mean, jeez.
That's pretty funny. They're spelling the players' names wrong.
Yeah, it's Julio with an H. Yeah, and it's got Julio on the back instead of Urias. It says Julio and it's spelled with an H.
That's funny.
That's good. Well, I saved $30.
Yeah, you got a great deal. What do you want from me? I'm a huge fan. Yeah, no,
good.
the red number's the whole purpose of the Dodger.
Exactly.
That's what makes a Dodger jersey. Look, on TV right there, the red number, that's what makes it happen. Shohei, if he's just Shohei Otani, slugger, 50 homers, 100-plus RBIs, OPS over 1,000, scores 100 runs, drives in over 100 runs, scores 100 runs. He's the everything you could want. He's a Triple Crown contender, and he's packing your ballpark. Do you still do it, knowing that the pitching thing is now at least delayed, if not irrevocably altered?
I'm honestly, I have a difficult time. I don't know how you don't. If you were in the game before, if you were one of the teams before that, you want Shohei Otani, and Shohei, you know what the value is, and you know what he can do, just from a marketing perspective, revenue, and what he does on the field. And yes, you're taking away a key piece of what makes him so incredibly special, and it might come later. What's Aaron Judge getting a year? 40?
40 and change.
Is Shohei still not getting 50?
Okay, but what if it's 60? What if you buy the two-way guy, but you only get the slugger? Because you're going to have to buy the two-way guy. You can't say, "Hey, listen, we'll give you the going rate for slugger."
Yeah,
we're not sure. You got to pay him both ways.
I just don't. I don't know how much this is going to deter teams that were already interested in Shohei to still offer him the money.
He's not going to lose a dime. That's how unique Shohei Otani is that
you don't think so? Nothing?
I really don't. Maybe it's delayed slightly, but what was coming his way is still coming his way. Because, I think it's probably more likely than not that he does have success on the mound, but even if he doesn't, the bat is so extraordinary and the impact on your organization and your bottom line, you're making that money back. It might not be a great baseball decision, but it's a great business decision, and I think that's ultimately what whoever gets him is going to do. $60 million for a DH? Yeah, that's crazy, but I'm doing it anyway.
What if he played the position? What if he played in the outfield?
Maybe.
He did it in Japan, right?
He did. He's played the outfield, and he's such an amazing athlete. He could probably do it in his sleep.
Would there be hesitation of him playing in the outfield?
Oh, they won't have him play in the outfield until they're sure he's done pitching. They're not going to do it like, hey, until you're ready to pitch, go play left field. They're not going to do that. Because now you're screwing with the pitching potentially. They're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But once it's, hey, listen, his elbow's never going to be the same again, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think he'll be all right. Speaking of, when we do the dump coming up next, Lee, I'll give you the list of two-time TJ recipients that are thriving in the major
Tommy
leagues.
Johns, yeah.
It won't take long. I'll just put it that way. That's coming up next. The dump. Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Yes, it's time for the dump.
So Steven Strasburg, who was a World Series champion with the Nationals in 2019, who struck out 14 batters in his major league debut.
Also, let me play that piece of sound, too, from
San Diego
Steven
State
Strasburg.
Aztec as well.
That's right,
Yes.
Aztec.
So this is the sound. This is his debut in 2010. He struck out 14 batters in this debut, and this is the sound of that final strikeout.
They don't need a seventh inning stretch. They've been on their feet almost every top of an inning tonight.
Yes, so that was, and he got through 7, and it was electric going back and watching this highlight. So the 2019 Nationals obviously were not a fantastic regular season team. I think they had maybe the worst record at the All-Star break, and then came back and got in. You know, obviously we know what happened with the Dodgers.
Yep.
We know what happened with a bunch of the teams that they eliminated along the way. But their roster was mega loaded. I want you guys to guess like some of these big names that were on that Nationals team. All right, so let's start with you, Trav.
Strasburg.
Yes.
Soto.
Yes.
Scherzer.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Rendon.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
It's a good one.
I might be out.
I'm going to take a stab at this. This isn't my answer. I'm trying to think it through out loud. I want to say that Pudge Rodriguez was their catcher, but I don't think that's right.
I don't think so, right?
Second base. Who plays shortstop?
Their catcher does not have it's not an Americanized name.
Okay.
I don't know if I.
It's Trent Suzuki.
Kurt Suzuki.
Kurt Suzuki.
Yes.
Kurtz, do I get half credit?
Take it, because I don't have anything left.
Yeah, half
Suzuki,
credit.
right?
I don't have anything left. Or no, wait. Did you say Scherzer? You said
Yeah.
Scherzer.
Yeah,
Okay.
Scherzer, Asdrubal Cabrera, Victor Robles, Daniel Hudson at the time.
Daniel Hudson.
Yeah.
He was good for them.
Yeah. Sean Doolittle, Patrick Corbin.
Corbin's the one I was thinking of. I would have never
so
gotten
this
it.
was an incredibly loaded roster, which as a Nationals fan, it was amazing because, this is the last ride with all these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Harper had left the year before, and he said, I'm going to bring back a championship DC when he was in his opening press conference with Philadelphia, which was amazing. And then it's all blown up less than a year later.
When did the last time Strasburg pitched? Couple years ago, right?
It feels like it. And the reason we're talking about him is he announced his retirement from baseball today.
Yeah.
And
still in the middle of a contract, too.
He was so electric and so good for very brief periods of time. He was constantly banged up.
Yeah.
He was constantly
He
hurt.
was a
but
3-time All-Star, so it's not like he was the entirety of his career.
right. When he was right, he was about as fit. And him and Scherzer, this is why they'll get a couple aces and see what happens. They're the example.
By
of
the
that.
way, it's funny listening to that call. Just as exciting as a home run, it's a pitcher who's got everyone standing up because he's got 11 Ks, his stuff is filthy, you're in the 7th or whatever inning it is, and that just the call from the ump that, that strike 3, there's something about that too, as good as even a home run.
Speaking of baseball, Kike Hernandez turns 32 years old today. The former Dodger turned current Dodger, Kike Hernandez. Happy 32nd to him. And by the way, he's another one that has been just fantastic since they went. Kike did not have a good run in Boston. It was not working out. He was not playing well. He was a good dancer. This is the Freddie dance, right? He's been him and not Peralta, Rosario. All the guys that they went out and got were just terrific.
Something too. I mean, listen, I don't want to make too much of it, but sometimes it's as simple as I just got to change my environment. And he's coming to a place he's obviously accustomed to. It almost reminded me in the offseason with Bellinger. I'm like, Cody, go somewhere. Go
Look
somewhere
at what
else.
He's doing.
But doesn't that sometimes it's just you're leaving the environment that you're in. It almost feels like a fresh start. I think that changes everything.
Cody Bellinger is having an all-star caliber season. He's batting over 300. He doesn't have a ton of pop, but he's playing gold glove level defense. His exit velo numbers are way down. He's not hitting the ball nearly as hard as he used to, but he's getting hits again. Instead of batting 160, he's batting 320 or so.
Good for him. Don't do it against the Dodgers.
Absolutely. He was a great Dodger. He's going to be one of those guys that you remember very fondly, even though in the grand scheme of things, he wasn't here a super long time.
And
5
every
years.
time he comes back, he'll get love from L.A.
First, he won a World Series. And by the way, part of the reason he was not the same for the Dodgers is because he dislocated his shoulder with that high five or forearm bash with Kike, where remember his shoulder popped out.
Yeah.
He was never the same for the Dodgers again.
Oh, so Cody Bellinger, how do you like Chicago?
It's great. I mean, just like right now, it's still a little humid out, but where am I? I haven't done Bellinger in a long time, man. I haven't done Bellinger in a long time.
I feel like you would be confused as to why there's ivy on the walls. Like why are there plants on the walls?
Is he an IPA guy?
No.
Why are there plants on the wall? It's really, really good.
Yeah, that would be something that would really tie him in knots.
Where's the cheese on this pizza?
Why is there
this guy's
plants on the wall?
He's growing weed on the walls. He's like, nobody's going to see it. I got to hide it in the ivy.
He's having a great season. Today was the day that Pete Rose got told beat it for the rest of his life in Major League Baseball. Today, 1989, Pete Rose banned from baseball for life.
That's today?
And right when they were getting ready to say, hey, maybe we can think about this, he went to a casino opening.
Hey, where was it at? Was it like Field of Dreams? What place in Vegas was he always signing autographs?
I don't know the name of the store, but I know it was in the Forum Shops in Vegas.
That's what it was.
I don't remember the name.
I remember one time in Vegas, I'm like, what the hell? Is that Pete Rose? Well, yeah, he was doing it, whatever. I think it was a couple days a week or
Pete
something like that.
was either in Vegas at the store signing autographs, or he was at the Sicily on the corner of Ventura and Sepulveda because he was there every day when I'd go for lunch. He was there, and he wore a Pete Rose tracksuit that had Pete Rose's face and Hit King stitched on the top. It's like, dude, you're Pete Rose. Everybody knows. Pete Rose is not hard to recognize, right? Pete Rose does not look like a lot of people. He looks like Pete Rose. And there he was. Hit King right on top of his sweatsuit. It was great. I loved it.
It's like Shaq saying Shaq on his shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
We know who you are.
It's like Air Jordan wearing an Air Jordan logoed sweatshirt everywhere. It was a lot. Let's do a little super crosstalk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super.
They're not that far back.
All right, can I tell you my one time I interviewed Pete Rose story?
Yes.
All right. I'm a sportscaster in Beaumont, Texas. The All-Star game is in Houston, which is 60 miles down the road. So we go in for the All-Star game, and every big name in baseball is roaming around the batting cage. And I walk up to him and I said, Pete, I'm with a local affiliate outside of Houston. Do you have a minute? And he goes, what the F for? I tell him what I'm going to ask him about. I go, well, the All-Star game hasn't been here for 30. You were here the last time it was here as a player. I'm just going to ask you what. And he goes, all right, let's get it effing over with. And I'm like, this is a mistake.
Yeah.
He goes, what's your name? I go, John Ireland. He goes, all right. He goes, hurry up. My camera guy is like, he just could not have been a bigger jerk. The light goes on, and I said, Pete, you're the only person on this field that was here the last time the All-Star game was in Houston as a player. What do you remember? And he goes, well, John, let me tell you, it was a great night. And he goes on for 2 minutes, and he calls me by my name 3 times, and he gives me the greatest answer of all time. And I go, that's all I need. He goes, then get the F out of my face. And goes right back to being a jerk. But that guy knew how to play ball when the light was on.
You ever had one of those? Because I had the exact same story, different player, but almost verbatim.
Yeah. No, I
Reggie
had
Jackson.
Mine was at.
I bet.
Mine was at Padres camp, and they were playing the Giants, and I was told, "Go get sound from Barry Bonds."
Good
I'm like,
luck.
okay, get sound from Barry Bonds. All right. So and they're there for a few days. So I'm like, hey, Barry, sometime in the next couple of days, could I have 5 minutes from you? And he looked at Will Clark and said, I don't hear anything, Will. Do you hear anything? I'm like, F you, Barry Bonds. And by the way, when you have an experience like that, it colors your view of them forever and ever.
So did he ever talk to you?
No, never talked to me.
Wow.
No, he pretended I wasn't there.
So
screw you, Barry.
You're probably not the first or last person to have said that.
He's been a red ass with a lot of people.
I was producing for Rome.
Yeah.
And we wanted to have Reggie on. And so I had Reggie's phone number, and I call Reggie, and phone picks up. I said, Reggie? Yeah, who's this? I said, it's Travis Rogers. I'm calling on behalf of the Jim Rome Show. I was wondering. And he goes, how'd you get this number? I said, you gave it to me. And he says, I did? I said, yeah. He goes, everybody knows that you're supposed to go through my assistant when you book an interview. And I'm like, I didn't know that. Last time we were on, you gave me your number. I asked if you could do it, and you said, yes. He goes, well, you never call this number again. I don't do this. And I said, wonderful. Would you like to do it? Sure. And he goes on, he was awesome.
Yeah.
He was an
spectacular,
unbelievably good interview.
Still is, by the way.
Funny, insightful, engaging, everything. And
he
then,
used to call us blindly. Remember back in the day? And he would say, you guys were wrong about this. And then explain to us for 5 minutes why we were wrong in a nice way.
He's a great interview subject.
Right.
But it's like, are you done yelling at me? Can we do this? And he was terrific.
Okay, so, Trav, were you ever involved with Jim Rome's old TV show Talk 2?
Right before I got there.
Talk 2 was the
one on ESPN 2.
Right.
So here's an amazing story. I've got a friend of mine, a guy named Danny Swartz. Who
I know Danny.
You know Danny. Yeah. So great guy. I play golf with him all the time.
Okay.
So Danny was producing Jim's TV show.
Right.
And you guys remember John Thompson, the old
Georgetown
coach.
Yeah.
So Danny calls John and says, Coach, we'd love to have you on the show. We tape in Los Angeles. We'll fly you out. He goes, this might work. I'm recruiting a kid in L.A., and I'm going to be out there in the second week of September. And Danny goes, great. We're going to make this easy on you. We'll pay for your flight. We'll put you up in a hotel. We're going to book you for Wednesday the 12th or whatever it was. And we'll fly you out on Tuesday. And John goes, great. So right before they're about to do this, like 3 or 4 days before, Danny gets somebody huge that they've been trying to get, but he can only do it on that Wednesday. I think it was Tiger Woods.
Okay.
Somebody like that. And he calls John Thompson back. Says, Coach, I'm so sorry to do this to you, but we got to bump you to later in the week. And John Thompson just goes ballistic. Just MFs him up and down. Danny said he's basically holding the phone 2-3 feet away from his thing, and he goes, Coach, I'm so sorry. There's just nothing I can do to avoid it. We'll make it up to you. We'll fly you first class. We'll put you out. And Thompson, he goes, I made plans. I made plans to see this recruit. I made plans to see other families. This is unprofessional. And I can't believe you're doing that. Hangs up on him. Okay. So Danny calls back, gets his assistant, and he says, can I cancel the flight? I assume Coach isn't going to. He goes, yeah, cancel the flight. It was 9/11, the flight that went down.
You're kidding.
No. And next day, John Thompson calls Danny to apologize and thank him for saving his life. And then a week later, John agreed to come on with Jim Rome and tell the whole story.
Wow.
And he told Danny, he goes, if you ever need anything, John passed away recently, I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
He goes, if you ever need anything for the rest of my career, you call me. And he goes, I apologize for lighting you up like that. That was wrong, and you saved my life.
Oh, my God.
Wow, that's amazing.
That is unreal.
Yeah.
There used to be a columnist for the L.A. Times named Diane Pewson.
Yeah,
And,
I remember her.
Diane was in Boston, and she was scheduled to be on the flight that was coming out of Boston, and she overslept
Wow.
and didn't make it. And that's the flight that Ace Bailey, the King's scouting director, with Mark Bavis, his assistant, landed up on. Both died. So you just never know.
Yeah.
Hey, so pivoting, Trav, I want to ask you something about this.
Actually, can I tell one story?
Yeah, go.
So I used to, when I first got to California, I was working on the Mighty 690, and my producer was a guy named Chris Visser. Does anybody know Chris?
Well,
Leslie Visser's brother.
Right.
And Chris had everybody's phone number. I mean, had the best Rolodex ever. So one morning, and he'd call people on the fly and say, hey, I got so-and-so for you. I got so-and-so for you. So one morning he calls me and he said, I got Harry Carey for you. I'm like, wow. all right. So I start talking to Harry Carey, and, he's fantastic and colorful and all that stuff. And apparently Chris had told him, just 5 minutes. Can we have 5 minutes of your time? So I may be like 7-8 minutes into the interview. I don't know the ground rules. I didn't know about the 5 minute thing. So at some point, Harry Carey says, "Hey, I thought you said this was going to be 5 minutes." And I was like, "Sorry, sorry, I did not know that was those were the parameters of the interview." But I'm happy to let you go. But yeah, Harry Carey and Chris Visser did have the best Rolodex ever.
I still see him at the Super Bowl.
Do you really?
Yep.
Yeah.
He will still show
working
up.
in the business in some way, shape, or
He
form.
is still hustling. He's still out there.
Radio
doing
guy,
stuff.
man.
Yeah,
lifer,
diehard,
lifer,
for sure.
Mason and I had a conversation in the hallway. This is the conversation that went on. He said, "Waffles or pancakes?" That's a great question, and that was it. That was our only.
We unanimously
agreed. I was crossing paths.
Little bit of a Dan Sileo topic, I think.
Yeah.
But,
well, that was on your Factor Cap today.
It
was. So I Jorge, really?
No,
You're
no,
gonna do that?
no. The
Travis
smoke
had
alarm.
one.
You had a smoke detector
Travis threw out a smoke
I
alarm.
changed the smoke detector on Saturday afternoon, Saturday, in my son's room. Threw it in the trash. It chirped. We took it off.
Right.
Usually when you unscrew them, they're dead.
Yeah.
This morning, 4:30 in the morning, we hear another one. I'm like, okay, because they all tend to expire at roughly the same time.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's somewhere else in the house. It's not. I can't figure out where it is. Susan says, I think that's the neighbor. So we're listening, like where our bedroom is very close to the neighbor's house, and our windows are open, and I'm listening, and it's outside, but Susan goes, I think it's in our trash can. It was the one we'd thrown away.
Wow. It wasn't going to leave
Had
you
to go
alone.
through the trash can.
He's digging through the trash at
4:30.
4.
And by the way, on Saturday, so a week's worth of crap has stacked up on top of it. 4:30 this morning.
Well, you know the story about me and the neighbor who.
By the way, why didn't you just take the battery out of the smoke detector?
It wasn't one that you replace the battery.
So
it's
you
one you
screw
throw away and
in
put a new one in. You can't open it.
And even when you disconnected it from power, it continued to chirp.
It
I don't
didn't
know
for
why.
5 days until it started to do it again tonight.
So my neighbors were traveling.
Okay.
And their smoke detectors started going off.
Oh, no.
And it went on for 2 months while they were traveling around Europe. And we would text her, the lady next door, Velma, I think was her name.
When he told the story,
Jorge would just never
would
stop
play this
playing.
randomly.
Never
like,
stop. It was
one
the
time
most
you did it for a
annoying
whole
thing.
show.
Oh,
it was
just
awesome.
brutal. So pancakes or waffles? Now, I'm a pancakes guy. I've heard your description of waffles.
Very
Waffles
good
are
description.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
The little
Pancakes.
pockets where you stick the stuff and all that.
Butter melts in the
So here's one of the reasons why I love pancakes so much. My dad, who towards the end of his life would eat from a trough. My dad would go to this place with this called Goodies out in the desert, and he would order the tallest stack of pancakes. Then he would order 2 sides of sausage. Then he would order 3 poached eggs. What my dad would do is he would deconstruct the pancakes. So he would put 2 sausage links on top of every pancake and stack them up so that there was sausage. Then on top of that, he would put the 3 poached eggs on top of the pancakes.
So the yolks run.
Then he pours butter and syrup over the whole thing. And we were like, come on, Dad, you're embarrassing it. This is like you're making some sort of
because he's a genius
food construction project. No, you would go for that?
I would try it.
Yeah.
I don't think I would go to the extreme to make it
Oh,
myself.
yeah, no, he built it. It was like, remember Lincoln Logs? He would build it like Lincoln Logs.
Innovators are never appreciated in their time, Mace.
Yeah.
You guys know.
I appreciate it now.
There's a day for everything. Today's National Waffle Day.
Is it National
Yeah,
Waffle
I'm
Day?
trying with you. Waffles are better than pancakes.
Waffles are great.
But
Crunchy.
here's the thing I wanted to ask you. This has happened 2 days in a row to the Dodgers, and I've never heard of it happening.
So goofy.
Ever before in any capacity, and you've been around baseball, Trav, your whole life, so I want to ask you. Twice. They did it last night. They did it again this afternoon. They have put the tarp on the field, even though it's not raining.
It's
they
like
know
preemptively.
They know it's coming. But what is that? Why are they doing that? Now, Dave Roberts apparently went ballistic both times.
He did.
And well, I don't blame him.
Well,
why wouldn't you play right up until you had to stop?
Right, and the Dodgers were up 6-1 when they pulled the tarp on the field, were they not?
They were, and they were up 3-1 last night when they put it on the field, and they were incensed by it. And I get it. The real answer is that tarp does take a minute or two to get on the field, and if they're expecting a
thank you, Jorge. Keep up the good work.
Like, I know you're from the Midwest.
Yes.
You've spent time in the Midwest. You know how those storms can happen where it's fine, and then there's 2 inches of water on the ground in 2 minutes.
We would, when I was working.
But still, why wouldn't this have happened before? In my lifetime, I've never seen it happen.
It's happened to me a lot
twice.
It's happened to me a lot in minor league baseball. Where you'd say there's a storm front coming through.
So instead of having the water collect on the infield, let's get the tarp on it before it starts so it stays dry. That's why.
They would look at like the Doppler radar.
Right.
Like Dallas Raines, former backup quarterback for the Florida State
Seminoles. He was not a backup quarterback for Florida State.
Did Johnny Mountain play at Clemson?
His name is Kevin Feinstein,
no, Dallas,
by the way.
My friend Dallas played backup quarterback for Florida State.
You know this story, right, Trav? He went out once at practice and threw the ball around, and somebody said, Bobby Bowden or somebody said, "Hey, you got a pretty good arm." He goes, "Thanks." That's the end of the story.
Backup, see, that's enough for me.
Mason has decided that based on that one story, Kevin Feinstein, which is Dallas Raines' real name, was a backup quarterback at Florida State.
Do not let facts get in the way of a good story.
Never.
Come on.
Never.
We're in the story
Never.
business.
Okay, since we're telling stories, you guys know the story about Larry Bird playing at Indiana State playing baseball, right?
No.
No.
So there's a picture of this. So apparently Larry Bird's in the training room at Indiana State. The baseball coach is in there. And Bird, as he was notoriously cocky, said, I could play on your team too. And the baseball coach was like, no, you couldn't. And he goes, I absolutely could. So at one point, the guy said, all right, come on out here. Bird showed up for one game, played first base, got a hit, didn't make an error in the field.
Wow.
And that's Larry Bird's baseball career.
His entire career.
His entire career was when there's a picture of him in an Indiana State baseball uniform. He played one game, and he is a two-sport athlete at Indiana State.
There you go.
Speaking of Larry Bird, have you guys been watching Winning Time? Are you into it?
I'm into it. I like it. I was into it more last season, but I've watched every episode.
Yeah.
I plan on continuing to
I like
watch it.
Have you watched the one from 2 nights ago?
Yes.
Or 3 nights ago that was about Larry
He's
Bird?
terrific. That actor, we've
that
talked
actor
about this.
is so
Somebody
unbelievably
texted me. Somebody in
Shoot,
the league
too.
texted me that Larry Bird is not happy.
Why?
He's like Jerry West. He doesn't like the portrayal.
Go to the Supreme Court like Jerry did last year.
The portrayal of Bird isn't uncomplimentary.
No. Well,
I like his character. I thought this past episode was actually really, really good. I'm with Trav. A little slow to start off with, but I thought this episode 3 was good.
Here's what I think. They made a movie Lincoln a few years ago. Do you remember that one?
With Christian
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Steven Spielberg did it. If Lincoln was live, I think he'd be pissed off about it. I think there's stuff in there that is completely fictionalized.
Well, sure.
Like every movie, there's stuff that's fictionalized.
But
Norm Nixon was coming out and saying the relationship with Magic was not like that,
Yeah.
but we all know that.
It's a TV show.
I don't think anybody nobody's watching this trying to get facts from it.
Correct.
I'll be honest. The fact that real Larry Bird doesn't like TV Larry Bird makes me like TV Larry Bird more.
Makes you like TV Larry Bird.
Because
screw you, Larry Bird.
Now I want to see what it is that he doesn't like.
Yeah,
and now anytime I couldn't stand Larry Bird because he was awesome.
Yep.
But as a Laker fan, as a kid of the 80s in Showtime, I can't go with Larry Bird.
Yeah.
But I like fictionalized Larry Bird. Super Cross Talks brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about. We'll see you tomorrow.
Happy Mamba Day.
Kobe back in Dunleavy in. Turns, leans, shoots. Behind the backboard, he buried it.
What a shot.
Wow.
I hope that gets him going.
From your home of Lakers basketball.